dropping his re-election bid.
Within that report, the ally who spoke to the New York Times also said that he remains deeply committed to the race, but he's acknowledging that he is going to have a tough time convincing the American public that he is a viable candidate if he can't prove that over the course of the next few days. The White House immediately responded to this. Andrew Bates tweeted that claim by the New York Times is absolutely false. If the New York Times had provided us with more than 7 minutes to comment, we would have told them so.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. There's also a Reuters report that 25 House Democrats are preparing calls for the president to step aside, depending on how he does in the coming days. The president is speaking with congressional leaders and meets later today with Democratic governors. Meantime, a White House official says Chief of Staff Jeff Zients urged staffers in a call today to tune out noise and focus on governing. Forecasters urging parts of Texas to pay close attention to Hurricane Beryl for now, bearing down on Jamaica today as a Category 4 storm, 145-mile-per-hour winds before approaching the Cayman Islands tonight into tomorrow and then the Yucatan Peninsula. After that, it heads into the Gulf of Mexico.
These waters are also incredibly warm, record-breaking warm temperatures, and so potential we could be seeing some re-strengthening of this.
And while it's too soon to know for sure, Fox meteorologist Rick Reichmuth says by Monday.
Possible scenarios here, though, somewhere, probably our best guess at this point, northern parts of Mexico, parts of Texas, and this is all this area of high pressure that's been protecting this area is going to nudge a little off towards the east, and that's going to allow this moisture, we think, in the storm to get at least closer to Texas.
In the meantime, parts of the western U.S. expected to break heat records over the next week. America is listening to Fox News.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-653-1188. 800-653-1188.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Partly sunny skies, and it's hot, it's humid. We'll keep an eye out for a couple of redeveloping thunderstorms. 94 for the high. Tonight, periods of rain and thunderstorms early, and then redeveloping late tonight. 74 Thursday for the 4th. Rain and thunderstorms in the morning. Partly sunny skies, then scattered thunderstorms late Thursday into Thursday evening, and 88. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Deroy Murdock.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Triton Exteriors, specifically my friend Tim Nesbitt, who is the owner. He is from the customer service business, 20 years in the restaurant business, so the answer is yes. What's the question? Anything you need. Hospitality, personal service, we're upscale, we're a James Hardy company. Roofing and siding and gutters and great value. Tim just texted me and he beat the next closest bid by $15,000 just this week. You can call 314-717-1159 or triton-stl.com.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
David, the New York Times is reporting that President Biden has told a key ally that he knows he may not be able to salvage his candidacy unless he can convince the public in the coming days that he is up for the job. This is following that debate performance last week. The White House and Biden's campaign have been really dug in this week, saying that he's still up for it. So this is the first indication, as the New York Times reports, that the president is seriously considering that he might not be able to move forward. This ally emphasizes that he is still all in on his candidacy as of now, but he's acknowledging that some of the appearances that he has coming up, he's hitting the campaign trail in Wisconsin, for example. He has an interview scheduled later this week with ABC News. He's acknowledging that if those do not go well, that he might not be able to move forward. And that's from the New York Times.
So that's a CNBC report on the New York Times reporting that President Joe Biden has told a key ally he's weighing whether to continue in the race. I'm just going to be honest with you folks. I don't believe anything that isn't sourced directly with a quote from someone when I can see the words coming out of their mouth. Very easy to plant stories, very easy for maybe the New York Times is absolutely reporting everything that a key ally told them, but maybe the key ally made it up. I don't know what's happening. I don't trust anything, but I do know that there is smoke swirling around this situation with Joe Biden post-debate. Wow. I didn't know you were going to pull the actual sound. Is this our conversation from last week? Cut to?
Yes.
Okay, let's listen to this from last week. Does the debate winner matter? That's our YouTube poll for today. 250 votes. 58% say yes. Woo. 42 say no, it doesn't matter.
Wow.
I'm kind of surprised by that. I thought it'd be more decisive. We'll find out next time we're on the air. We'll know who won. Yeah, we definitely know who lost. I think that's definitely what we gleaned from the debate. 58% said that it would matter,
yes.
Correct? So 42% of the people thought, we'll do the debate. The debate will happen. Trump people will say positive Trump things and negative Biden things, and Biden people will say positive Biden things and negative negative Trump things. It's not really what happened.
No, and I think those 42% were saying that because they believed that Joe Biden would be able to step over the bar that was buried in the ground, and instead he went out there and dug his grave underneath it and laid beneath the bar.
Yeah. Get the metal detector out. Where is this thing? It's a disaster, and it's not surprising. I mean, I think what we all like, if you were surprised by what happened on Thursday, what you thought was going to be sped up Joe, State of the Union Joe. I can't get over the Chris Coons. I can't remember who. I think it was on a Fox. It might have been on one of the other networks after the State of the Union, and he was like just singing Joe Biden's praises as to how much energy that guy has. And we're like, yeah, we could tell. It was condensed into about 2 hours, and we haven't seen that anywhere else at all. Now, here's J.B. Pritzker. I know everybody wants to know what he thinks about anything.
No, nobody said that. There was, again, we had a call the other day, yesterday actually, in which people just expressed that they wanted to hear more from the president, that they certainly were concerned about the debate performance, but they just want to make sure that this is the right direction and that the president reassures them. I have not heard any of the governors express that, he's not the right guy. It's just that I think there are questions that got raised by that debate. And hopefully that's just a one-off situation that the president can rectify by letting everybody know, once again, all the great things that he's done for working families across America.
Oh, yeah, shut up. As if you would know. I'm taking J.B. Pritzker's word for it. White House spokesman Andrew Bates disputed the New York Times report, that clip that we played earlier here from CNBC, talking about how that key ally is saying he's mulling his options. Andrew Bates said the claim is absolutely false. If the New York Times had provided us with more than 7 minutes to comment, we would have told them so. So they're saying, no, that's not it. There's no reality where the Biden campaign comes out and says, yeah, we're really considering if we could really win this thing. Because do you know what happens to fundraising dollars? Should they come out and say that? I need like an anvil cartoon sound right before it crashes into the bottoms. Here's the deal. If Kamala Harris takes over the ticket and becomes the nominee, then the funds that were raised for the Biden-Harris ticket, she can use. If it's not Kamala Harris, that becomes much more difficult. Our YouTube poll for today is, if Biden exits the race, who is his replacement? You have two choices, America. Kamala Harris or someone else. Because everybody's dancing around the Kamala Harris question right now, and there's some people who are trying to talk about how, oh, you know what, she's not that bad. It's not, Kamala Harris is not what she's been made out to be. And then there are people who know that she polls worse than Joe Biden, although I should say that that's changed now. She's polling a little bit better against, her approvals are a little bit better than Joe Biden's. I think that Joe Biden's tanking approvals have something to do with that. There are a lot of people who are saying right now that it is time for Joe Biden to exit the race. I don't know why these people are so shocked about the state that Joe Biden was in. You can take the debate performance out and string together a dozen pieces of context that have taken place in the last 2 to 3 months, and it's the same picture. It's not different.
Yeah, you talked about this. We would have audio cuts, and you said you would just put this into the pile of, here's Joe Biden being a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. You know, and we would just set these over here, and people would hear them, and we just set them over here. But you just said it just adds up and adds up and adds up.
We have people on the Biden side of the aisle, the Democrats now, saying, we need to really look at what's taking place here.
The dam is breaking, Jake. Top Democratic leaders, former administration officials, current administration officials, major donors are all telling us privately, and now we're hearing it publicly, that they think that President Biden needs to step aside for the good of the party, for the good of the country. A couple of things they're saying. They do not think the debate was just a one-off event. They think that there is a health problem. They also say you cannot unsee the debate. They're worried, obviously, because of Donald Trump, who they see as an existential threat to democracy, but they're also worried about down ballot races, losing the House and the Senate.
So that's Jamie, is it Gangle on CNN? CNN, I don't know all the CNN correspondents, sorry. But we do want to give them a voice here, let people know what the other side is thinking. And if you're on the other side, we definitely want to hear that other side of the perspectives that are out there. People are saying one of two things. It has to be Kamala, or it can't possibly be Kamala. Let's listen to Tim Ryan. You remember Tim Ryan from Ohio? What did he do? He ran for Senate and lost or something like that. Didn't he lose against J.D. Vance?
J.D. Vance, yep.
Oh.
That's a shame.
That's a shame. Former Congressman Tim Ryan was talking about the what next question.
Well, we all saw the debate on Thursday. I mean, you can't ignore it. You can't ask people to unsee what they saw. Not only did they watch it in real time.
I'm going to interject here, Representative, if I might. What do you mean you can't ask people to unsee what they saw? That's literally what the White House has been telling us to do. I mean, it's what they told us to
do. Yeah. Cheap fakes. You didn't see anything. You had a cold. You didn't see anything. It's nothing to see here.
Yes. Leslie Nielsen, take a seat. Good grief. You can't ask people to not see what they've seen. You've been doing that, dare I say, for 3 years.
Yes, and that's why people are so surprised.
Yes, which is stupid. You shouldn't be surprised. You should be paying attention.
No, and I think that's why the media is flipping out the way they're flipping out now, because they realize, oh no, our credibility is on the line.
It's the most BS thing of this whole ordeal, which is people who are now leaking things or reporting things because they're going to look like they were holding the bag because they were holding the bag the whole time.
So many people have personal experiences with their parents, their grandparents. They know what the aging process looks like. And that person on the stage there was not capable of governing the United States of America, being in those difficult meetings, being in those difficult situations. And so I think we have to recognize that as quickly as possible, rip the Band-Aid off. We have a great vice president who has 3.5 years of seasoning in the highest levels of government. She would be a great campaigner, energize our base. So many of the different aspects of the Democratic coalition would be super excited about a Kamala Harris run, and we should get behind her and take the campaign to Donald Trump and get this country back where it needs to be.
Okay, so there is Tim Ryan, loser Tim Ryan. That's what Donald Trump would say. He lost his last race to a Republican. That seat went to J.D. Vance, singing the praises of Kamala Harris and saying she's the one who can do this. She's the rightful person. Anthony Weiner was on a podcast, and I don't know who the other individual was because it wasn't on. I think this is the clip that I sent you. But he's talking with a black man who I perceive to be somebody who's maybe on the right side of the aisle. And they're talking about this issue of what happens next. And again, J.B. Pritzker and Anthony Weiner in the same conversation here in the same segment. You're like, Andy, what did we do to you? But you need to know what the people are saying. Listen to the enthusiasm here in this clip.
The Democrats throw out Joe Biden, or he steps back. Who's the toughest opponent against Donald Trump, do you think?
No one. He's going back to the White House.
I don't know, toughest. Who do you think is tough? Who would be the one that you'd be like, all right, I'm a little worried about that one?
There is no Democrat out there that I'm worried about.
What about Oprah?
Oprah would never. First of all, her skeletons would come out.
This is a little bit of a silly conversation. You know, I think the only person who would be able to coalesce the party in any way had to be someone on the ticket, so it had to be probably Kamala Harris. Because she
laughing like the vice president.
Well, she outperforms Biden among blacks, among young people. All his weaknesses, Kamala Harris does better with.
Listen, to the producers of this program, when you don't have any talking points, they should just cancel the show.
He's like, Anthony Weiner, is it his show?
I think so. This is the first time. I didn't even realize he had a show.
Yeah, this just did. Now we know. Everyone's going to run out and subscribe. But his guess is like, Trump wins. There's no Democrat. There's nobody out there. Trump's going back in. It ain't Kamala Harris. It ain't Oprah either. Why are we having this conversation? It would have been better left unsaid. This conversation would be better for the listeners had they not had anything to listen to. He's not taking Kamala Harris seriously either. I do think that the Republicans could miss the mark, could not stay on message, and could fumble this ball at the 5-yard line. I absolutely don't think the Republicans have already won the race. I won't believe it until probably a few weeks after Donald Trump is sworn back in.
Yeah.
That's just the way these things go. But right now, here, let's see here. Do you have any clips on here of any recent comments Donald Trump has made?
I don't.
Do you know why?
Because he hasn't said anything.
Because he's keeping his trap shut. Good job, Donald Trump. Good job. Yes. More of less. Keep doing that. Do not get in the way of any of this. The poop show that is the Democrat Party right now, leave that be. Campaign contributions in kind right now. Let Joe Biden's meltdown, which, do I feel sorry for the elderly man? No. Because if you were paying attention earlier on, you knew this in 2020. Do you remember when Joe Biden was campaigning from his basement? And do you remember when he was talking to James Corden and Joe Biden, like a doof, picks up this picture frame. It's got glass on it, and it shows the setup that's right there. And you can see the whole rig is up there. There's a teleprompter that's right next to it. I don't know what was all being written on the teleprompter, but the idea that Joe Biden was leaning on, the people who are just like us. James Corden. Joe Biden wasn't campaigning to represent you. He was campaigning to rule you. And he was doing it on the behalf of a coalition group of people who were so fearful of what Donald Trump would do in a second term that they lied their way through it. They worked to deceive you, and they got people in on it. And you can tell they got people in on it because the media across the board right now, I got CNN clip after CNN clip. I've got MSNBC clips. Scott Jennings on freaking CNN, he's the big winner here.
Yeah.
Because people are tuning into CNN right now to be like, what are they saying? And Scott Jennings is saying respectable, conservative things with a pretty good clip right now. And we're like, who's that guy on CNN? I didn't even know he was there because you had to find CNN on your channel list to figure out how to tune in the first place. Everything that is happening right now in the media, the leaks, the people who are lamenting. I mean, look at the sadness in their eyes when they're talking about all of the sudden this week, this Independence Week, they're all of the sudden referring to Joe Biden might not be up for the job. They're sad. Do you know why they're sad? Because they're freaking biased. Because this sucks for them politically. They don't care about Joe Biden. If they cared about Joe Biden, they would have handled this situation and reported it before, for whatever godforsaken reason, the Democrat Party decided to go with the guy who wasn't winning in the primary, coalesce around him, and put him in the place. They chose him. They anointed him. The Democrats did this to Joe Biden, and Jill Biden, the worst wife in America, was like, yeah, I'm for it. First Lady? Heck yeah. Now you've got Jill Biden and Hunter Biden surrounding Joe Biden, trying to advise him to stay in. That's what the reports are saying. Oh, who needs all the First Lady treatment and the pardons? There they are, standing around Joe Biden, telling him, here, eat your pudding and relax. Everything will be okay. Is it elder abuse? You're gosh darn right it's elder abuse. But it's not new. It isn't new. And if you and I have been paying attention to this whole time going, guys, what are they doing? You sit here and you say, this isn't right, but this isn't newly not right. This is well-established elder abuse. It's been happening for a long time. And these people were willing to put freedom, liberty, and justice in the hands of Joe Biden so they could retain power. It's un-American. I dare say it borders on treason. So forgive me while I don't join the tearful, oh, it's just so sad to see that this is happening. The people on the left-leaning, agenda-driven media right now are out there saying that it's very sad. They have this very dark and sad dirge of an attitude about them because the game is about to change. Hunter Biden and Joe Biden sitting around advising Joe Biden, you need to stay in this race. What's Kamala doing right now? Because she is the person who is supposed to have been in locked arm, lockstep with Joe Biden this whole time. We've listened to Kamala Harris echo the sentiments of Jill Biden. We've listened to Kamala Harris tell us over and over and over again how capable Joe Biden is this whole time. Remember, this is not new information. Kamala Harris has been on the front lines of deceiving you so that they could retain power. And it just turns out, I don't think that Joe Biden's clock is going to outlast this election. I don't know what's going to happen to him, but mentally he's obviously not capable of doing the job. We have threats on our embassies in Europe, across the world right now. The world is on fire with Russia and Ukraine. The world is on fire with Gaza and Israel and Hezbollah and Iran at the behest of all of it. And our well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory out for the entire world to see last week. We've got terror levels being raised this week. This isn't a coincidence. We're weak and everybody knows it. And Jill Biden, Hunter Biden, Kamala Harris have all subsidized getting us to this point. They've invested in it and they deceived you in the process. And now the media is saying, oh, crap, we're going to look like terrible people and self-serving reporters. We better turn on a dime here and change the narrative. Yeah, we see you. We know exactly what's happening. I can't think of a better person to talk to about all of this than Joe Concha. And he's going to be with us when we come back. Our friend here on the Annie Fry Show, Fox News contributor and author of a book, Progressively Worse, Why Today's Democrats Ain't Your Daddy's Donkeys. It's coming. It's available this July. So, get it now. Joe Concha on the Annie Fry Show. Next.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
You're pushing, I'm pulling away from you. I giving you take, young blood, see you want me.
Everybody's looking to save money. Saving on your grocery bill is essential right now more than ever, but I've never been I'd rather go to that store where I pay more money for things that I could get for less. That's never really been me. I doubt that it's you. Ruler Foods, hi, thanks for being here and making it so simple to save. At Ruler Foods, you get Kroger brands at Ruler Foods prices. They also have delivery. You can get delivery in a snap with Ruler Foods by visiting rulerfoods.com today and place your order. Right now, they have a great sale on red and white seedless grapes. Delicious. Love them in our house. $1.27 a pound. Cherries, $2.99 a pound. A must-have at the pool, at the lake, on the boat, wherever you are celebrating Independence Day, grab that bag of cherries and celebrate it right. Heritage Farm boneless, skinless chicken breast, if you're firing up the grill, $1.99 a pound. Plus, Bar S Frank's, Kroger ketchup, Kroger mustard, Kroger relish, 10 for 10. Save on your 4th of July celebrations at Ruler Foods. And if you want to place that delivery and have it sent directly to your door, you can do that on their website as well. For all the savings and the location closest to you, rulerfoods.com.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
More good news for Frederick Roofing, voted best roofing company by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
314-645-2000.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
You entrusted a nursing home with the care of a loved one, but they violated that trust. If your family member has been the victim of nursing home neglect, call Onder Law at 844-BED-SORE.
Honesty, integrity, humility, purpose. We're looking for people that share these values. As an officer in the Springfield, Missouri Police Department, you'll train in a state-of-the-art facility, learn special skills, and most importantly, learn that being humble through it all builds a better community. Our next training academy starts soon. Work hard and dedicate yourself to the craft, and I promise you'll have some amazing opportunities. Visit gospd.com for more information. That's gospd.com. Brought to you by the Springfield, Missouri Police Department.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Keep the air you're paying to heat where it should be with 15% off attic insulation. For a free estimate on attic insulation, visit aircomfortservice.com.
This Thursday is the 4th annual Music for Fireworks special on 97.1. This is Ryan Wiggins. It's my own selection of patriotic songs, speeches, and slogans from our nation's history. So tune in from 8 to 11, Music for Fireworks, commercial free, July 4th.
You know, Joe,
I don't know nothing.
What you know,
and speaking about stakes, you just came out of a fundraiser. We know that many in your party have expressed concerns about President Biden's health. Just this morning, Congressman Doggett said that he's calling on President Biden to withdraw from the race, given that there's too much at stake to risk a Trump victory. What's your response to this?
Look, Joe Biden is our nominee.
We beat Trump once, and we're going to beat him again, period.
Are you ready to lead the country if necessary?
I am proud to be Joe Biden's running mate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe Concha, Fox News contributor.
All right, Joe, I've been thinking about talking to you for a little bit here because if anybody has been watching Joe Biden the way you have, I got to talk to him. Thank you for being with us today. What is your take on this moment in history right now with our president?
Unprecedented, right? I mean, with Lyndon Baines Johnson back in the 60s, wasn't alive then, but I read enough about it. He decided not to run again because he was in poor health physically, not mentally, but physically, and Vietnam just had worn him down completely, and he just didn't see a path forward for himself. So he kind of surprised a lot of people when he said he wasn't running again. Here, you have a president's own party now attempting to execute a coup, a mutiny against a man that they knew was in this mental shape for years and denied it or called videos literally showing him falling upstairs, off bikes, on stages, talking about uncles being eaten by cannibals, 9% inflation when he came into office, driving an 18-wheeler, getting arrested, trying to see Nelson Mandela, all these things they said weren't happening. Cheap fakes, manipulated, edited. So they are so boxed in. They are so, I can't use the word, but effed, I guess I can use at this point.
We hear it.
Because there's not going to be a Gavin Newsom or a Gretchen Whitmer or a Michelle Obama coming to the rescue because this little thing called money. And there are hundreds of millions of dollars that the Biden-Harris campaign has raised that only a Biden-Harris ticket can use or only a Harris fill-in-the-blank ticket can use. You can't transfer it to someone else or another campaign. So Kamala is your gal now. And I'm not even going to think, will Biden resign? A couple of days ago, I was thinking maybe he would hold on. But now, no, the dam has broken. Kamala will have to be the nominee. And boy, people really don't even know her, Annie. That's the whole thing because she barely does any interviews or anything like that. But I saw the movie in 2019 where she was considered a front runner, and nobody on the Democratic side liked her. Authenticity problem, cackling problem, and you have no idea where her moral compass is, basically on anything except for abortion.
No, I was just thinking yesterday that any Trump PAC out there looking to dump some money and some advertising buy should just saturate the environment with Kamala Harris talking and laughing.
Yes.
That's all they have to do.
Precisely.
They don't even have to put Trump on it. Just Kamala, 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 that you never, ever want to see her again. What a campaign that would be.
I'm glad you brought that up because Donald Trump, you may have noticed, he's not saying anything.
Yes.
He has been so disciplined to this point. In these 6 days, the old Trump, I think, would have spiked the football and made himself part of this story somehow, or then the media, of course, would say how cruel he's being, how unpresidential he's being. He ain't saying a word. And what that tells me, Annie, is that the people he has around him during this campaign, this time around, he trusts them, and he knows that they're giving him good advice to the point where he's accepting that advice. So Trump has been a genius throughout this whole thing. But, yeah, Kamala Harris, commander-in-chief, run every ad in every state, just put Trump's name on the end, and most Democrats can't even stomach that. That's certainly for sure. I saw that CNN poll out yesterday that showed she polls better than Biden, Buttigieg, Gavin Newsom, and Gretchen Whitmer, but she still loses to Trump. But that would be the high water mark because once she starts talking, you're going to see that her brain is broken as well. She's not suffering from any sort of mental acuity problems as far as I know, but that's a different kind of broken brain because anytime she speaks outside of a teleprompter, you have no idea what she's talking about.
Yeah, didn't she say, when she was asked, I can't remember the specifics of the story, she was given the border, that went well, but then she was talking about traveling overseas, maybe to Europe or something, and she's like, I haven't gone to a lot of places. We can use her own words to advocate why anybody would be better than Kamala.
Yeah, border. You hammer her on that. And then remember, it's not just about Biden or about Harris. The Democratic brand is broken, right? I mean, these are the people who told you, let's spend billions upon billions of dollars while we have high inflation and then call that act the Inflation Reduction Act by spending more money.
It's pretty arrogant to think you can get away with that, don't you think?
Oh, of course. And they did, because Joe Manchin actually was duped by it somehow, so we finally voted for it. And also, as far as crime, hey, let's have all these district attorneys who don't want to enforce the law. Remember, they were about defunding the police just 4 years ago, and so that became unpopular. We talked about the border, hundreds of terrorists coming across that border, and they're the party of war also, by the way, as far as like Ukraine and the billions going there for that stalemate. So, yeah, even no matter who you put in here, that is your platform. That is your record. And if it's Harris, then it's the Biden-Harris record. You take Joe Biden out, that's still your record, Kamala.
Yeah.
And I think, boy, wouldn't it be delicious seeing a Trump-Kamala debate? I would. Oh, man. You think the Biden one went bad?
Oh, man.
Ooh, Nelly.
Yeah, it'll be something to see. We'll be front row seats for that. Fox News contributor Joe Concha with us right now. We've talked about Joe Biden. We've talked about Kamala Harris. You brought up Donald Trump. It's an incredible point to talk about how disciplined he is. But the thing that is really chafing me this week is the jaw-dropping and the sadness, the tear that you see in Van Jones's eyes on CNN. I actually kind of like listening to Van Jones. I don't have as much animosity towards him as I have towards a lot of these other people.
I'm with you.
There's so much dishonesty in the sadness that's coming out of these other networks. Like, this is brand new information that Joe Biden has been struggling. They've been in on it. They're part of it. They are as guilty of selling America and people who only watch the news at airports down this line of thinking that Joe Biden is the rightful guy. When somebody else is clearly driving this car, the media doesn't know what to do with themselves right now because they're part of the actual problem.
I'll use the term again. They are so effed as well. I mean, it was one thing with Russia collusion and the Steele dossier and bounties on U.S. troops, and Trump's ignoring it because it's being carried out by the Russians, and using tear gas at Lafayette Park across the White House to tear gas protesters, all these things that have been disproven. We got finite time, but I could give you at least 40 examples. And somehow they still had, I don't say some credibility, but those were slightly ambiguous things that to the average American might be a little kludgy. This was literally what you're seeing and what you're hearing are actually not happening. They actually went down that road to try to protect this man. And then they feign all this outrage or this shock when what happened at that debate, when we've seen the tapes for years. I mean, when I wrote my book, Come On, Man, The Truth About Biden's Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Presidency, I wrote that in 2021 and 2022. And I was just like, this guy is gone. And if you said that, well, you were either an ageist or you were engaging in promoting cheap fake videos. And boy, don't they look stupid now. Did you play, please tell me you played this, the Scarborough clip where he's saying, if you can't handle this, well, go F you.
Yeah.
This is the best Joe Biden we have ever seen. Oh, play that over and over. Like,
somebody
my
check
new
on Joe
said,
Scarborough.
Joe.
Somebody check on those two over there. What an awkward place to be.
He hasn't been in. He hasn't been in all week. And you can't say, well, he's on vacation. It's a holiday week. Well, why is Mika there and he's not if they're on vacation? That's his wife. So I think when he called for Biden to, step down, he didn't say it, but he basically implied it, that audience is not going to handle that very well. So I think he was told, take a couple of days off and let this cool over. But boy, the irony around Scarborough is he and Mika helped get Trump elected in 2016. They put him on. Do you know how many times they had him on? 41 times, most of the time by phone, right? And Matt Taibbi, who was writing for Rolling Stone at the time, he called them like a bunch of brown nosers, and they should be embarrassed themselves. He goes, if I ever interviewed somebody the way they did, I would take a cyanide pill afterwards. That's what Taibbi said, right? So they helped get him elected. Then the audience turned on them, so they went total 180 in terms of then being the most anti-Trump voices on the network, somehow made everybody forget what they did. And now, this is so great. And Brian Stelter, great job, you too, buddy. Oh, you hear what he said on CNN a couple of days ago? What is he doing on that network, by the way? Did they fire him?
It's really weird. It's like going back and asking for a date after you've been told 7 times this is over. And you're like, just one more date? And they're like, fine, free meal. Let's go.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, between him, Tubin's on there all the time. Still, Jeffrey, you're going to make any analysis. I want to see hands at all times. All right, I got to see that.
It's all I think about when I hear his name.
Right?
It's all I hear about.
Him the shaft. Yes. Anyway, but there's Stelter on there saying, "Well, the difference in that debate was we had a compulsive liar versus somebody who tells the truth all the time but is incoherent." Tells the truth all the time. Biden, the guy who said no troops died under his watch. That was the biggest whopper I've ever heard in any debate. So, yeah, they're all beclowning themselves, and it's just delicious to watch. And every time I'm asked to do an interview, I'm like, yes, Yes, please. Like, I'm outside my daughter's play right now. We're about to go in. She's doing High School Musical, even though she's only 10. And I'm like, they're like, Annie wants you to come on the show. I'm like, yes.
Thank you.
I will do this from the parking lot if I have to because I want to talk to my girl.
I appreciate that, Joe. We love your fire and your passion. And I was thinking, like, the amount of connections that you have in different media, from working in print and working in, obviously digital and television and with different networks. What are we about to see happen for these next 120 so days as we're marching towards this election? Like, what does this look like? Because I feel like it can't be status quo because it's such a shift to the paradigm right now.
Chaos. You're going to see absolute chaos. And if Trump stays disciplined, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does his rallies, that's fine. But he's shown it. I mean, it's weird. Like during his campaign events, for the most part, he's a happy warrior, and he's running on optimism, which is a big deal. So they would love to pivot back to Trump as much as possible. But I think he gets the game now. Like, okay, no, I'm going to let that Democrats be front and center. Wait till Chicago and that Democratic National Convention, because if Biden steps down, and then they decide they want to have an open convention. They say, okay, Kamala, this is yours to lose. We're going to leave it up to the delegates and superdelegates. The party that wants to save democracy basically is saying, hey, screw you, voters. We'll decide who your candidate's going to be. Oh, I love it.
In Illinois, my home state, exactly where you go to do those types of things. I think it was a well placed. Yeah.
Oh, Annie, why would they hold this in Chicago?
The only thing I could think of, maybe Michigan, Wisconsin-ish, and Chicago is friendly. I've always said that Joe Biden is not going to be the nominee, and I've always said that Michelle was, and I thought, what better place to do it than Chicago? I hope I'm wrong about the second part.
Well, again, I mean, I guess if they want to put her in and then just fundraise from there from scratch, but my Michelle Obama argument remains the same. Look, she hasn't worked in 20 years.
Yeah.
And once you peel off this onion and you hear her policy on inflation, for example, and how she's going to lower that, and violent crime in American cities, and the border, and immigration, and foreign policy, and all of that, it's all foam and no beer. So I think we still have the serious problems that we had. And, wow, she's like Oprah. Well, I'm sorry. This country isn't in the mood for Oprah right now. They're in the mood for somebody who could actually fix things.
Yeah.
And just because Michelle – and by the way, if the Obama – legacy is so great and everybody's so nostalgic for it, how exactly did Donald Trump win in 2016?
That's a good question.
Because that was a referendum on Obama, right? That people screamed for change. They were sick of the establishment and status quo, and that's why Trump won. So I don't even think the Obama name is all that great. I think she has the best chance, but I don't think she wants any part of this. I still believe that.
I hope so. I hope you're right. Last question I'm going to squeeze in here. Do you know if Kamala Harris were to remain on the ticket as the vice president and somebody else be the president on the next ticket, would she be able to keep that money?
I have no idea. I'm not going to pretend I know the answer to that because this is uncharted territory.
Yeah, because I'm thinking that
she'll never agree to that.
You don't think so?
No, God, no. She absolutely believes that this should be hers and only hers. Mm-hmm. And then who's going to want to work for her? You literally need to find somebody stupider than she is.
I was just going to say,
be your vice president.
She signed up to work with Joe. You just need another one of her to sign up and do it.
Maybe, I guess so.
Maybe Stacey Abrams is free. Stacey Abrams or Corinne Jean-Pierre. Those are the options. Joe, go get to your daughter's play. If I had a High School Musical reference to lay here, I would, but I've never seen it. So
I've never seen it either. She's like, oh, I got the role. I'm like, Kelsey or something. I'm like, great. I'm like, Travis Kelsey, what is this play? So who knows?
All right. Have a great time. Thanks, Dad. We appreciate it.
Bye, Mom.
Bye-bye. Fox News contributor Joe Concha, his book out, Progressively Worse, Why Today's Democrats Ain't Your Daddy's Donkey, is available this July. So you can go pre-order your copy right now. I pulled it up on Amazon. And Why Today's Democrats Ain't Your Daddy's Donkeys, I think that's the name of the game. This Democrat Party is not the party of your uncles and your dads and your grandpas. They've dramatically changed, and you can count on Joe Concha to lay it out there for you to understand in a way that will entertain you each and every step of the way. Joe Concha, our friend here on the Annie Fry Show. So great to talk to him. Quick break, Wiggins America, next.
Couldn't even see a movie show.
So what you know, Joe?
I just can't figure.
What you know, Joe?
I don't dig.
I want to talk to you about Window World and how getting your windows replaced with Window World, real smart decision. Window World uses double strength glass, gives it a strength that traditionally isn't used in replacement windows, but Window World does value quality, and they know that you value your hard-earned dollar. That's why they refer to their windows as being simply the best for less. You do not have to sacrifice on installing a window that is going to stand the test of time, that is going to be worthy of your hard-earned dollars investment. They also know that right now everybody could use a little more wiggle room. That's why Window World is now offering up to 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. Now is a great time to contact Window World to get that conversation started today, and you will not have to endure any high-pressure, weird, awkward situations by overzealous sales folks. You're just going to find out what kind of windows you need and give you the option to buy some really great windows at a really great price. 314-993-1800. 314-993-1800 is the number to call, and tell them Annie sent you. Be sure to let them know. 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
If you're thinking of selling your home, I'm sure there are two things you want: certainty and the most money, right? Hi, it's Mark Cox, and if you've been listening to me for some time, you know the only agent I trust is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis real estate expert. Here's why she should be your first and only call when looking for an agent. Gloria doesn't make empty promises. No, she provides written guarantees. Now, what does this mean for you? Certainty. Now, certainty isn't the only thing you want. You also want the most money. Gloria is able to get her home sellers more money than the average agent because she already has the buyers. This is why Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she'll buy it. To get your guaranteed price, call St. Louis real estate expert Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. So tell them today, I love you. Get screened. It could help save their life. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-699-1059. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-699-1059. That's 800-699-1059.
Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
Mark Cox here. Did you know the Rockwood School District is a great place to work? They're currently hiring school bus drivers, cafeteria workers, and custodial staff, as well as summer positions for mowers and landscapers. They have openings in Adventure Club, which is before and after school care. They offer competitive pay, flexible work hours, and a rewarding work environment. Discover the Rockwood Advantage and join an amazing team. Go to rsdmo.org/jobs. That's rsdmo.org/jobs.
The Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll of the day: if Biden exits the race, who is his replacement? We're giving you two options, although really it's unlimited. It's Kamala Harris or someone else, really anyone else. So let us know which one of those is going to be, Kamala Harris or someone else. 1248. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Who are you voting for in the Missouri governor's primary? Join me, Annie Fry, for the Republican Governors Forum on July 11th. Register for this free event presented by the Republican Central Committee of St. Louis County at 971talk.com/events.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Fry Show.
That you're settled down, that you found a girl and you're married now. I heard that your dreams came true. Guess she gave you things.
It's New Orleans, 2011. Takes me right back.
Oh, friend.
Oh, come on.
Why
I thought, come on, Adele. People probably didn't know that wasn't Adele.
From the light, I hate to turn up out of the blue.
Just to the point, Adele. Maybe that's why you left it.
Stay away. I couldn't fight it. I had hoped you'd see my face, and that
I hope you deliver after all of this waiting.
Oh, just wait.
It isn't over.
Break it down.
Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you. Don't forget me. I think I remember you said sometimes it lasts and loves, but sometimes it hurts instead. Sometimes
I got a problem. Annie's recording this, and when she does that, she posts the raw video without the background vocals of Adele. And the problem with that is that it sounds terrible. I should have known that was coming. You know, too, that I close my eyes every time I do that. I don't know you're doing it because I get so into it. No.
Why'd you quit? You were doing so well.
Because I looked over and saw it.
For the algorithm.
Oh, man. You know what? Katie Wiggins is going to hear about this. And she's going to go, man, New Orleans 2011.
I won't post it without your permission.
Yeah, don't. You don't have my permission.
Can I have your permission?
No. I know you're going to
Let me make it worth your time. Yeah. What do you want? I got oatmeal cream pies.
Okay. I'll take them. Deal.
All right, Wiggins America.
Wiggins America, I've got a bunch of situations for you, situational awareness. Where are you going? You just leaving? Oh, you're going to give it to me right now because you want to post it right now? I take back my offer.
It's too late now, right?
I got situational. This is the thing. When you're on the radio and somebody goes, this is what we're going to do, it's really hard to say no. Mm-hmm. So I had to say yes, but at least I got something out of it.
Hey, dude, you kill it every time you do that. I mean, for the lulz, not kill it for the singing. But
double-decker.
It's really just two. If you took out the middle and added more cream, or you added more cream in the middle, then it would be a double-decker.
No, it's a double-decker. What you've heard is a cheap fake. Go on.
They're getting so little. Thank you, Joe Biden.
Can I post it?
I'll think about it. Oh. It depends on how you answer these questions. You gave me my end of the deal, so probably.
I know, because I am acting in good faith, obviously.
Home insurance quotes are now sky high, if you haven't noticed. Especially in...
Wow, that's so off-trend.
Especially, yeah. In California, where I think I reported on this a couple months ago, that there are certain entire companies who do home insurance who just are issuing no new clients.
No policies?
No new policies in California because the insurance is getting ridiculous. The house values go sky high, so of course the insurance goes up. The question is, would you ever go without insurance? Because it has more than doubled. The number of Americans going without home insurance has more than doubled since 2019.
No, I wouldn't go without insurance.
I don't think I would either, but man, if it got like crazy where your house was $1 million.
And I had nobody but me relying on me, I think I'd still have insurance. But that's the only circumstance where I could think that I'd take that risk. If I was struggling financially and no one was counting on me. Otherwise, you have to have it.
Not health insurance and not life insurance, just home insurance.
Yes.
Okay. All right, just making sure.
What happens if something bad happens and you don't have the ability to replace your home?
You sleep in a tent for a while out here on
I've already told my kids that we're probably going to do that because our home value is so far up right now, and you lose a lot of that if you reinvest it into the next house. So just not have a house.
Yeah. If any politicians are listening, by the way, we would really, really appreciate if you would not raise our property taxes across the board. No matter where you are, Illinois, Missouri, doesn't matter. Everybody's looking at you and saying,
especially considering the way we started this segment, now's a great time to tell you that Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg is going to be with us at 1:25, and he retweeted our live. So he got to hear about it.
Oh, no. Are you kidding me? He probably did it right when I did that, too. Oh, no, I'm looking at the schedule.
Joe Concha sitting in his daughter's play, like just secretly watching the Annie Fry show, and that came on.
Well, that's fine, because if there's talent scouts there, they probably were like, what was that? What's that?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's exactly what happened.
Ooh.
Talent scouts at the 9-year-old's High School Musical play.
It starts young.
In
We were just
Jersey.
talking about it yesterday. My kid's going to play professional ball.
Yeah, look how far you made it.
Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg. I apologize. I won't be in here for that segment. So it'll be you and
in
Annie.
my office crying under my desk.
It'll be you and Annie.
If he comes on here after we're having this conversation about him and references it, I am going to be incapable of finishing the show.
Oh, my gosh. Sir, please reference that if you were listening at the very end. Otherwise, you're not going to have an interview.
Just say smart things. I'll be on the floor laughing until I die.
Here's the next one. I've been wanting to get a real question here. So this is a situation that was posted on, probably socials, but ultimately picked up by the New York Post. A plane passenger was called incredibly rude after refusing to move seats for a woman who was desperate to get away from a crying baby. Here's the situation, though.
You cannot move a seat and get away from a crying baby?
Yeah, like the cry just stops, like the smoking section at a restaurant.
Yeah. Hey, sit on this other side of this booth partition.
I always loved that.
Feels good.
Oh, great. That guy's got a cigar, but he's on that side of the wall. Okay, 34-year-old man was traveling with his wife, who's 36, from Dublin to Washington, D.C., so long flight, and they were initially assigned a window and a middle seat in economy. However, nobody showed up in the rest of the aisle, so he moved over to the aisle seat, so they had one between them. They had a little bit more space. For the first 4.5 hours of the flight, the man claimed nothing eventful happened. Then a random woman who was, I guess, in a different part of the plane, said a baby was getting on her nerves. She comes and sits directly between them.
What do we know if the ticket was what flight they were on? Did they buy the specific seat?
Well, he was not sitting in his seat.
But I mean, was it his seat? If you're on Southwest, you get your butt in a seat. You don't get a specific seat.
Well, it was international, so I don't think it would have been Southwest. I'm assuming they had assigned seating. So he's not sitting in his assigned seat. She sits between the couple, the man and the wife. Now, he doesn't move because he's like, well, I got an aisle seat. And so the uproar was he should have moved to be next to his wife, given this random person the aisle seat.
What did the wife want him to do?
It didn't say, but it just said that people were mad because he didn't treat his wife right.
That sounds about like today. People being mad about stuff that doesn't matter and doesn't affect them.
Well, put yourself in the situation. What would you do
if I were whom?
If you're the guy and your husband's sitting on the window seat?
If I'm the guy and my husband is sitting on the window seat?
Let me reword that.
This is 2024, Annie.
You're just asking a lot of me, so I got to really make sure I give you the right answer.
So you're the guy, your wife is sitting in the window seat, somebody sits right between you.
I would just ask my wife what she would like me to do or if she cares.
I think I would automatically move. I would definitely. I can't imagine sitting separate from the person that, even if it wasn't my wife.
How long on the flight is left? Do I have a reason why I need to sit on the aisle? I don't know. There's a million reasons. Right. I don't care what people. I'm not saying this about your story in particular, but just culturally, we just write stories that are generally made up about things that happen on airplanes, so we have something to talk about. Maybe we should start talking about the end of democracy.
Maybe, but here's the thing: every time I'm on a flight, I think about all these situations.
Because you're bored. It's because you're raw dogging.
Ooh, what is that? I saw that pop up. What is that?
I was hoping you had no idea.
I don't. What is it?
I'll tell you later.
Oh, good. Okay.
1:45.
1:45. Okay, that's right after Lieutenant General Keith
We'll see
Kellogg.
if you can raw dog till 1:45.
Well, I'm not even going to be in here. I'm leaving, and I might not come back.
I know.
All right. Real quick, new Illinois law targets influencer parents who feature kids in online videos. Apparently now the law in Illinois is that if you have a minor in your videos, you have to hold money back that you make from those videos
in a trust
until they're 18 years old.
Yeah.
And that's Illinois lead the nation there. I'm glad they're protecting minors.
Except for the unborn babies, which they advocate killing.
Yes. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. But this law very much.
Hey.
No.
Sing. That's why the people are here. That's why they were here. I'm going to move it to 2:05. We're going to talk about manliness and masculinity
Yay.
in the 2 o'clock hour. Deroy Murdock next.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A personal pledge from the president. Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Biden and Vice President Harris making a surprise appearance today on a Democratic National Committee call, reassuring staffers they're in the fight for re-election together. 3 sources telling the Associated Press that they also reinforced the stakes in this year's race. And a campaign aide says the president told staffers, "No one is pushing me out." This after the White House also denied a New York Times report he's considering a withdrawal, calling it absolutely false.
A memo signed by Biden campaign manager Julie Chavez Rodriguez and campaign chair Jen O'Malley Dillon says polling shows the presidential race remains tight and steady, despite concerns from Democrats over President Biden's poor debate performance last week. The memo, obtained by Fox News and first reported by Politico, cites internal polling from last night estimating the president trails former President Trump by 1 point in the battleground states, within the margin of error and consistent with previous polls.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House, which has just doubled down on what President Biden said at a campaign event last night, blaming his recent travel schedule in part for last week's debate performance. A whistleblower accuses the FBI of playing politics.
A complaint made to the Department of Justice by a supervisor and registered Democrat claims the FBI improperly suspended or revoked security clearances from those whose, quote, political views, medical views, or even ethnicity were questioned by Security Division leadership. Fox News has learned the House and Senate Judiciary Committees were notified of the complaint by the whistleblower's legal team. The complaint says security clearance investigations were often predetermined by supervisors and that the clearance process was used to force employees out of the FBI by inflicting severe financial distress.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz. A short day on Wall Street, the Dow dropping about 24 points. America is listening to Fox News.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-653-1188. 800-653-1188.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Partly sunny skies, and it's hot, it's humid. We'll keep an eye out for a couple of redeveloping thunderstorms. 94 for the high. Tonight, periods of rain and thunderstorms early, and then redeveloping late tonight. 74 Thursday for the 4th. Rain and thunderstorms in the morning. Partly sunny skies, then scattered thunderstorms late Thursday into Thursday evening at 88. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Michael's Flooring Outlet online at igotfloored.com. Shopping for flooring this holiday weekend. Great place to start by going in one of the various locations that they have here in St. Louis. A family-owned and operated business for decades, serving people just like you with great prices and quality flooring. Check them out in St. Charles County on Main Street in Old Town St. Peters at Mid Rivers and Highway 70. You can check them out in Darting Prairie as well as in West County on Olive Boulevard, a mile off 270 West on Olive. You can shop their website, igotfloored.com, and you can find out about financing options that they have for you to make this process economically feasible for you and for your budget to make sure you can get the job done the way you want in an affordable way. You can also read through different reviews that they have up on their website. They have a ton of them there, and they are written by actual customers of Michael's Flooring Outlet who have shopped the various products that they have available: hardwood, laminate, tile, luxury, vinyl, natural stone, carpeting, just like that Mohawk Smart Strand line. It's all there at Michael's Flooring Outlet, and it's all available to you with a click right now at igotfloored.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Termites cause $5 billion in damage to homes and businesses in the U.S. every year. Call Point Pest Control now at 636-798-0023 and reclaim your space from unwanted pests. That's 636-798-0023. PointPestControl.com.
This Thursday is the 4th annual Music for Fireworks special on 97.1. This is Ryan Wiggins. It's my own selection of patriotic songs, speeches, and slogans from our nation's history. So tune in from 8 to 11, Music for Fireworks, commercial free, July 4th.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Is he disabled?
One more. No, and let me finish with your colleague, please. And I know, but shouting out, come on. You know better. Come on.
Corinne Jean-Pierre chastising the little children that gather every day to listen to what she has to spoon-feed them from the White House podium there. The press is asking Corinne Jean-Pierre if Joe Biden is disabled. And this is just a stark reminder that the press, I know it's shocking because we haven't really seen it up until, I don't know why, but this week, the press is there to advocate for you and to press upon the powers of our government that have been sent there by you to get to the bottom of the truth. So those questions being asked by the press, they are to be answered by the people who are representing you in government. That's how the First Amendment works, and the free press is absolutely one of those parts. Of course, Corinne Jean-Pierre says to them, no, you know better than that. Is the president disabled? It's an actual question that was asked at a press conference against Concha here earlier this week. I want to get to our friend Deroy Murdock, who's on with us now. He's a nationally syndicated columnist and a Fox News contributor. Deroy, I just open-ended question here. The debate this week, what a wild week it's been in news. What are your thoughts?
It's quite something to watch.
Yes.
It almost looks like political coup happening right before our eyes. Without the military, it's almost like a coup with, instead of soldiers, it's people in suits. And we heard for years that 3.5 years, Joe Biden's the sharpest guy in Washington D.C. He's on top of his game. He knows everything that's going on. Nobody with more experience. Nobody with more know-how. Even just a week ago, 10 days ago, we were told that the images we saw on the G7 of him having to be brought back into line by the Italian prime minister, and I think at one point a little before that, just sort of dozing off at the D-Day ceremony and so forth. These are fake, cheap fakes. I think Karine Jean-Pierre called them. This was doctored footage. This is done dishonestly by the Republican National Committee and all this. And so, lo and behold, we have this debate last Thursday. And I guess the cheap fakes were done, live. Amazing talent that the GOP has to take
technology.
A live feed and doctor it as it's coming through in real time. And of course, people saw that, and you and me and our listeners probably were not surprised, but the people who tuned into CNN and MSNBC might have been quite startled by what they saw, which is Joe Biden not exactly being the sharpest scalpel in the hospital, and a guy who had real trouble putting sentences together. And I would think the most amazing thing he said, he looked down very confused, mumbled, and then looked up and said in the camera, "We finally beat Medicare." After all these years, glad we won that battle.
That was easy.
And if you're a Democrat, this would be about as horrifying a thing to hear as if we saw Trump get confused, look down at this podium, and then put his head up and say, "We finally raised taxes."
Yeah, bizarre.
Crazy stuff.
You've touched on it here, and this is something that's been really, I guess, just annoying to me, that folks like you, Deroy, and us here on this show and this station certainly have been calling attention to the troubles that we have with the president's ability to simply do the job. Let's not even talk about the policy, but his mental capacity to handle the pressures of the presidency. This has been before he was elected that people have been drawing attention to this, and now all of a sudden there's a contingent of media that's just very saddened by the developments of the last week. It's very crazy.
Yeah, it is. As you say, Biden was diminished when he ran in 2020. So we're talking 4 years ago. And remember, he was kept in the basement of his home in Delaware. He had the excuse that we had COVID was drifting around all over the country, and he didn't want to expose himself to it, and didn't want to pass the germs along to other people if he had it. So he had that very convenient excuse and was able to run almost almost a stealth campaign for president while Trump was out there actually doing rallies and being very much out in public. And so, this whole problem has started at least 4 years ago, and it's only gotten worse. You can go back and look at some of the footage of speeches by Joe Biden even 2 years ago. And the 2022 Joe Biden doesn't look anything like the 2024 Joe Biden. So that's really quite an astonishing pace of deterioration we're seeing right now.
We're speaking with Deroy Murdock. He's a nationally syndicated columnist, a Fox News contributor as well. I touched on this a little bit earlier in my show, but I think there's a lot of sympathy that's trying to be gleaned out of the Joe Biden situation, because in order to remove him from the nomination, or potentially even he resigns ahead of time, if he can't run, if he can't run for the next term, how can he run the country right now? I don't really have sympathy right now, because there are things that we've known, and there's a whole apparatus that has surrounded Joe Biden to make this situation possible. And I was not a part of it. You were not a part of it. What do we do next with this Democrat Party, and where they're going to take this, and how Americans should feel about the way they've been treated and deceived in the process?
Well, I totally agree with you on the deception aspect of it, but there is a very important piece of this that doesn't get as much attention as it should, and that is the Democrat Party over the last couple of years has been saying, that they are the Vatican of democracy. If Trump gets in, it's the end of democracy. No more elections in this country. It'll be dictatorship, and on and on and on. And yet we have Joe Biden here won the nomination fair and square. I've done a new op-ed piece on this, which I believe Newsmax and American Spectator and others will have over the days ahead. Basically, he won 14.3 million votes in the primaries, 87% of the popular vote. He's won 3,894 delegates, or 98.9% of the delegates. And out of 57 contests, primaries, caucuses, et cetera, he won 56. Now, he unfortunately, I guess for him, lost the American Samoa primary. That was won by a man named Jason Palmer. So, oops, didn't quite have 100% batting average, but yeah, got 98.2, which is pretty good. Yeah, not bad. So 56 out of 57 contests. So look, he won fair and square. And what all these folks are saying, got to get Biden out of the way. Excuse me, he was put into that situation as the Democrat Party's presumptive nominee by 14.3 million people casting their ballots. 14.3 million of our fellow Americans. Now, you and I don't agree with them, but they're American citizens. They have every right to pick somebody to run to be president for the next 4 years. And those people picked Joe Biden, honestly, fairly and legally. And, I think their desires and their wishes need to be respected. If the Democrats are going to do that sort of thing, then let's not hear anything else about them being the party of democracy and the guarantors of democracy, et cetera. I mean, they're willing to take the votes of the ballots of 14.3 million people and basically shred them and then say, well, thanks for your input, but no thanks. We're going to put in whoever we want. And I think that's really quite astonishing and quite disgusting, actually.
Nationally syndicated columnist, Fox News contributor Deroy Murdock with us right now. Well, reflecting on what the Democrats have done in the last 4 or 5 years, it does make a lot of sense to me that the entire the enveloping predicate for what the Democrat Party is they're not Donald Trump. And you could really swap any name in there. There are a lot of people who would vote for Joe Biden with full knowledge of the current state of his cognitive abilities, his physical abilities, because he's simply not Donald Trump. So there is a contingent of people who will vote for not Trump, whomever that person might be. What about the Democrat policies? Because Donald Trump has been very quiet here lately, very smartly, very quiet. Yeah. Will we get a policy debate should somebody else step in there for Joe Biden?
Well, wouldn't that be nice? I mean, I've said over and over that what the Democrats really should do is stop the lawfare, stop the comments about Hitler, stop the nonsense about concentration camps for journalists. I mean, he was president for 4 years. We had nothing even microscopically like that. In fact, quite the opposite for a guy who has no respect for the free press. We keep hearing this guy had one press conference after another interview, after another sit down. I mean, especially during COVID, as you may recall, he would get up in the morning and do a 45-minute press conference with the journalists, and then come back at like 6 or 7 p.m. And I think when I would sit there and we had nothing else to do since we were all locked up, I'd sometimes watch him go for like, an hour 15, hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half, where just answer question after question after question. So he made himself extremely available and accessible to the media, unlike Biden, who's constantly in hiding, doesn't answer questions so often, et cetera. And so rather than talk about all these fantasies about the American Reich, why does the Democrat Party actually say, look, if we get reelected, here's our program for the next 4 years? I have no idea what these people are running on, other than we won't have concentration camps, we won't have an American Hitler, and abortion. That's about all they have to offer. I would love to hear maybe another 2 or 3 more ideas beyond that. And so far, I really haven't, and that's a shame.
Deroy Murdock speaking with us right now. We've talked about Joe Biden in summary, and again, I don't think his debate performance is a one-off. It was something that, in the context of everything that we've seen about him, it fits completely in the timeline of Joe Biden's abilities. But not many people are talking about Donald Trump's debate performance because Joe Biden's taken the spotlight in the post-game review. And, I just saw this steady drumbeat of people saying everything Donald Trump said was a lie. Everything he says is a lie all the time. And I feel like that was a predetermined talking point before the debate even happened. When he comes out, we're just going to say liar, 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 liar. I'm wondering what you thought of Donald Trump's debate performance last Thursday.
Good question. I thought he was obviously very energetic. He stayed pretty calm, which is good. I think and Biden might have tried to get under his skin. That didn't really work. I thought the moderators, Jake Tapper and Dana Bash, did a pretty good job of asking, I thought, pretty tough but fair and relevant questions for both candidates. Trump basically debated Biden. He didn't debate the anchors as he did in 2020 with Chris Wallace. So I thought the debate was pretty good in that sense. I wish the president had mentioned what I think is a great idea, the idea of not taxing tips for people who are waiters, waitresses, cab drivers, barbers, whatever it might be. That was a great idea. He's asked several times about his thoughts on childcare. I thought if he had nothing else to say, he could say, well, look, if you earn tips, they won't be taxed. That may not cover all of your childcare needs, but they'd help a little bit. That would have been helpful. As for the lie part, I think, Donald J. Trump does sometimes exaggerate and sometimes a bit hyperbolic. I think it's just sort of his rhetorical style. But, we heard some flat-out lies from Joe Biden that no soldiers have died on his watch. Unbelievable. I mean, you had 13 GIs who were killed by the suicide bomber in Kabul as Afghanistan was collapsing in the most completely chaotic and deadly fashion under Biden. We had 3 people who were killed early this year, I think in January, in Jordan near the Syrian border. There's no mention of those people. And he again repeated this whole nonsense about the cemetery in France where supposedly Trump didn't go because he considered the people there suckers and losers, according to Biden. That has been shut down over and over and over again. I personally have written 5 or 6 or 7 stories in which I quote 16 different people by name who say that they were in Paris in the entourage of President Trump when he's over there. That didn't happen. He never said those things. The trip was canceled because of bad weather and logistical and security concerns by the Secret Service. Biden keeps, and by the way, there are only 4 anonymous sources in the original story by Jeffrey Goldberg. Biden keeps repeating that nonsense all the time. And of course, he repeated another lie, which is that President Trump said there were very fine people on both sides in the Charlottesville race riots of August 2017, including the neo-Nazis and the white supremacists. In fact, President Trump said, no, I do not mean the neo-Nazis and the white supremacists and the KKK. Those people should be, quote, totally condemned. Or condemned total. I think it was totally condemned is the term. Okay, so he said that, and it's in the transcript. Anybody can look it up on the White House transcript of that speech. And Biden over and over and over again lies through his teeth. This was actually debunked by no less than Snopes, which is not exactly
eventually.
And Annie Fry and Deroy Murdock ideologically. This is pretty left of center fact finders, and they came out and said no, this is false. They said it's a false claim that in fact he did say that the white supremacists should be totally condemned. And so Joe Biden is out there repeating this lie over and over. And I think he did this at a rally in North Carolina the next day. And I think he was at a fundraiser somewhere, if I'm not mistaken, a couple of days after, and again repeated that same lie. So he repeats these lies, even though left-wing fact-finding organizations indicate that, no, this isn't true. She should stop saying this. But he keeps lying and lying and lying and lying and lying. So... he's hardly the man who's got clean fingers to point at Donald J. Trump about lying.
Yeah, I just think, we had asked, we ask a poll every day on this show, and the day before the debate, we asked our audience if they thought that the debate was going to be consequential. And we usually have between 200 and 300 votes a day on this very anecdotal poll. And 58% said, yeah, they thought it would be consequential. 42% said didn't. And I'm just thinking about how dramatically this election and our presidential history potentially could change because the debate pulled the curtain back on the whole thing.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think anybody thought that Biden would have as rough a night as he did, especially after he was at Camp David for an entire week with his 16 aides prepping him and rehearsing him and all that. You barely could hear him talk. He was confused. Some of his answers made absolutely no sense whatsoever. I think he got a little bit better towards the end, but I think his supporters were completely shocked and horrified, and I think his detractors were probably kind of stunned at how wobbly he was. But look, again, he's the choice of the Democrat primary voters. He won the nomination fair and square. If he wants to keep it, I think it's his. And by the way, there's nothing that the Democrats can do about it. I mean, he's got the votes. He's got 98.9% of the votes on the first ballot in the convention. So if he says, look, I'm the president of the United States. I earned this. I've wanted this job since I was 10 years old, and it's mine, and I'm going to keep it. And anybody else in my office telling me to stand down, turn around and get out of here, I'm going to call the Secret Service and have you booted. If I were Joe Biden, that's what I would do.
Oh, man. Well, by the time we speak again, Lord knows what will have happened, Deroy. Thank you for being with us today. We always love your insight.
Next time we talk, oddly enough, Mike Johnson will be president of the United States.
Oh, man.
You heard it here first.
Mike Johnson. Now, there's a hot take. Thank you, Deroy. We love talking to you.
Very good.
Happy Independence Day.
You as well. Thanks. Bye.
Right, bye-bye. Nationally syndicated columnist and Fox News contributor Deroy Murdock on the Annie Frey Show. Quick break. When we come back, Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg is going to be joining us. As all of this craziness is happening in the executive branch of the United States government, guess what? We're on a higher terror alert across the world for our United States embassies. I think I heard an interview with Sage Steele where she was talking about, or they were telling her, Wesley Hunt and Byron Donalds were saying that we've had 7 embassies under attack under Joe Biden. And the alerts across the world right now, they're higher. What is going on across the world? How is the United States involved? How does a debilitated president affect our security? Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg when we come back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
Cassins & Sons, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. I shop at Cassins for my vehicles. I am a customer of theirs, regardless of partnering with them to talk to you about buying vehicles there. I am an honest customer, and I wouldn't buy my vehicles anywhere else. I trust them to not take advantage of me, to sell me a good quality car and to back it up with great customer service. 618-800-2712, 618-800-2712. Right now, 2023 Challenger GT, a lease for 42 months, 0 down, $399 a month, tax, title, and license not included. It's a great opportunity for a June promotion that was extended into July to score one of those 2023 Challenger GTs. What a ride. If you want to get a hold of them and talk to them about this, make sure you mention Annie when you call 618-800-2712, 618-800-2712. You can also visit them online at cassinsons.com to shop all of the vehicles that they have on their lot right now. If they don't have it, they'll help you find what you're looking for. I guarantee it. Reach out to Cassins and talk to them about your next vehicle purchase today. Tell them Annie sent you. cassinsons.com.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Is yours? Did you know that there's an R value associated with insulation? To find out your R value or for free insulation estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Wednesday afternoon, the very latest reaction to a blistering story on the New York Times about Joe Biden's condition. Plus, George Gray is going to lighten the mood with The Price is Wrong in the 4 o'clock hour.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
I'm only happy when it rains. I'm only happy when it's complicated. And though I know you can't appreciate it, I'm only happy when it rains. You know I love it when
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
All U.S. military bases in Europe are on heightened alert. A DOD official telling Fox News, I'm just going to quote here, John, there is credible intel pointing to an attack against U.S. bases in Europe over the next week or so. I'm also told that these U.S. military bases have increased their threat posture to something called Force Protection Charlie, which in Pentagon argot means there is credible intelligence indicating that a terrorist attack could be imminent against any U.S. military bases or personnel. jump. So this terrorist threat is for U.S. bases in Europe.
So there's Lucas Tomlinson, a Fox News Channel reporter, talking about the elevated high alert across the pond over in Europe. And you got to ask yourself, what does this mean? What is this about? Why is this happening now? Well, we go to experts to answer those questions because I certainly don't have the answers myself. Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg back with us on the Annie Fry Show, the former National Security Advisor to the Trump administration and co-chair for the Center for American Security at America First Policy Institute. General, thank you for being with us here today. It's great to have you.
Hey, Annie, thanks for having me. And look, it's a day away, but happy 4th.
Yeah, you know, when I hear these terror alerts, it makes me very nervous because I don't know what they mean. And if I were overseas, I'd be a little extra concerned. What can you tell us about this heightened alert?
Yeah, you know, Annie, I've lived in Europe before, and unfortunately, these alerts happen. This is the highest alert in the last 10 years, but it has happened. And it's a Charlie, which means an attack could be likely. But if you get a Delta, that means you're imminent. That's like everybody, you know, really, really, really on guard. And I think what's happening, you've got two wars in the region. You got one in the Middle East. You got one in Ukraine and Russia. They recently had a terrorist incident with ISIS-K that happened in Russia. You got the Paris Olympics getting ready to start. So there's a target-rich environment. And what terrorists do is they want to send a message. You know, it's not an existential threat. They're not going to overthrow a government, but they can make my life miserable for a lot of people. We saw that happen on 9/11. And I think this is just one of those things that's going to happen. I hate to say it. I was in Europe. We had the Red Army faction. We had the Baader-Meinhof gang. These kind of things happen, but it just shows the instability in the world. And also, you have to do the bridge. And the bridge is, okay, that means you have to be on top of the game all of the time, ready for it. Understand this may happen. Be prepared to respond as rapidly and as forcefully as you can, and have your options open and ready to go. And you know, this is the bridge. And unfortunately, I don't think this administration does. And I don't know what they would do. If something did happen, I don't have any confidence, Annie, that they would do very much at all, except say, oh, gee, look what happened.
Oh, man, that's very frustrating. Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg with us right now. You know, I think about the dramatic historical instability that we have in our executive branch right now on the home front. Does any of that have anything to do with what's happening across the world?
Oh, absolutely. But without question it does. Look, adversaries, allies too, they look at the chief executive of the United States. You know, we're the number one power in the world. The president of the United States is the most powerful leader in the world, and they see really disarray in the commander-in-chief, the president of the United States, and this emboldens adversaries. And so what they do, and I've seen this happen my whole life, not only being in the White House, is they push the envelope. You know, they say, okay, let's see how far we can go. Let's see how far we can press. And it just happened recently. The fact is, over the last year or 2 years, you see this repeatedly. Look what the Houthis are doing in the Red Sea, shooting missiles at ships coming into the Red Sea, to include the U.S. warships, with basically they really don't care what the response is going to be. They can absorb the response and go forward. And you see this happening all the time. You see the threats being pushed, and that's because adversaries, frankly, don't fear us or respect us. Deterrence in the world is in shambles right now. And that is honestly because of the lack, I believe, leadership of the President of the United States. You know, we've all been to the arcade games, and there's an arcade game called Whack-A-Mole. And, you know, mole comes up and you hit with a hammer, it goes down. The trouble is all the moles are up at the same time, and nobody's been whacking any of them down. So because of that, it causes immense problems in command, control, coordination, because you have to address each one individually and rapidly so they don't build up such pressure on you that it becomes impossible to act. That's kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah. General, it's just like there's so much percolating. There's so much tension across the world. And what I consider to be a stabling force, which is that American strength, the idea that we are there, that we have a distinct point of view and a distinct thing that we will defend ourselves from or against, I don't have that confidence right now. There's a headline on Fox News currently that says Putin and Xi meet to bolster alliance against West ahead of NATO summit. We've seen Kim Jong-un in North Korea getting in the game here. It seems as though while America is weak, those people who would be our adversaries are just spending a little more time, having a few more conversations. What do you see materializing out of those conversations?
Well, you know, Annie, if you may have the greatest military force in the world, but if you don't have the will to use it, then it means nothing. And they see us not willing or wanting to use the force that this nation has to push back in these areas, to push back on them. So they're emboldened by it. So you see, Putin going to Korea. You see him going to Hanoi. You see him going into the Middle East and asking with his Iranian buds to provide him with missiles and drones. So now you've got this true axis of evil where you've got Russia, you've got North Korea, you have China, and you have Iran. And they've basically gotten together and say, let's cause some damage in the world. And that's exactly what they're doing. So, and all we do is just say, don't do that. What was the comment that President Biden and his team made when they didn't want Biden to do something, it was Hezbollah to do something? They said, don't. Well, don't doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
You got to be able to push the envelope and push back. I'm pretty proud of the Trump administration. When we were confronted with things like that, we responded pretty aggressively and pretty rapidly as well. I was talking to somebody the other night. I made the comment, when our American embassy in Baghdad was under attack by pro-Iranian Iraqi militia forces, one of the questions, and we had to wake the president up in the middle of the night to talk to him about it, and one of those questions was, who's behind it? And we said, well, it's this guy Soleimani, who's an Iranian leader of what they call the Quds Force, which is basically their terrorist force in Iran. He directed us to basically go after Soleimani and take him out. That happened on the 1st of January, 2020. On the 3rd of January, Soleimani was dead. And that's how you have to react to it. That sends a very clear message to your adversary. Oh, we really don't want to dance with these guys.
Yeah.
Because we don't know where it's going to end up at. And that's what you have to do. They're hard decisions, but you have to make them. You have to make them rapidly, and you have to basically alert our allies it's coming, and our adversaries know it's happening, and they will respond accordingly. In other words, they'll back off.
We're speaking with Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg here on the Annie Frey Show. I'm going to play a clip for you. We had Congressman Wesley Hunt and Congressman Byron Donalds. You might have heard this clip by now, talking with Sage Steele about another instance where Donald Trump was in conversation on a foreign policy circumstance.
Wesley, you go. You can talk. I'm going to give you my favorite President Trump story. This is my number one favorite of all time. When we were negotiating with the Taliban, while President Trump was still the president, President Trump wanted to get out of Afghanistan, but he wanted a conditions-based withdrawal, meaning that you do what we tell you to do, and then we will start pulling troops back slowly as long as you abide by our rules. It's President Trump and Mike Pompeo, and they are talking to Taliban leadership in the room, and they had one translator in the room. President Trump looked at the Taliban leader and said this, I want to leave Afghanistan, but it's going to be a conditions-based withdrawal. And translator translated. And he said, if you harm a hair on a single American, I'm going to kill you. And the translator goes, and Trump goes, tell him.
Yes.
Tell him what I said. Tell him what I said. Reached in his pocket, pulled out a satellite photo of the leader of the Taliban's home and handed it to him.
Shut up.
Got up and walked out the room.
Sure did.
Do you know for 18 months not a single American was killed in Afghanistan?
Sure did.
That's the definition of strength. That's what I'm talking about.
General, when I hear stories like that, is it embellished? I don't know, but that sure seems to be a very dramatic departure from the, as you articulated, don't strategy of the Biden administration.
Well, look, what he's talking about is Mullah Baradar. Baradar was the leader of the Taliban. Actually, President Trump got Baradar out of jail. He was in Pakistan jail, and Trump picked up the phone and called Imran Khan, who was the prime minister of Pakistan. And he said, hey, we need Baradar out of jail. We need him to be the chief negotiator for the Taliban in Doha to help us get out of Afghanistan. And Imran Khan and Trump gone back a long ways. So he released him. So the first phone call that I was in the Oval Office with the president, we actually talked to Baradar. It was translated because Baradar does not speak English. But he basically said to him much the same. And I remember listening to the president when he was talking to Baradar, and I kept thinking, how is this being translated? Because there was a pretty direct and pretty harsh discussion with Baradar. But bottom line, he said, we're going to come to an accommodation. We're going to get out of Afghanistan. We're going to do it in a very conditioned way, and don't attack Americans. And the congressman was right. After those discussions from Mullah Baradar, there were no Americans killed in over a year in Afghanistan. And I was in the room when the President Trump made that call to Berardi, and he had that whole discussion with him. Now, I wasn't there when the photos were passed, but I remember thinking, holy mackerel, that was the first time we had talked to Berardi. And Trump reminded Berardi, the reason you're not in jail right now in Pakistan is because of me.
Yeah.
And then he got him out. So this is the way he did it. This is the way he operated. I used to tell people, guys, if you really want to understand Trump, believe it or not, he's really not that hard. He's pretty direct. Pick up the first book you ought to pick up is read Art of the Deal. If you read Art of the Deal, and you pretty well get an understanding of who this guy is. And most people don't. They don't understand him. But he really did protect, he meaning Donald J. Trump, protect American interests and American servicemen. And I got to, if I may, just because it's getting ready to be the 4th of July, this comment you hear when he's called people, American soldiers, losers, and when he was in Europe, and I was there on that trip. That is not true at all. He never said it. There's 20 of us on that trip said, we never heard that. I know General Kelly has said that, but I'm not going to say, I said, come on, I never heard that. Now, I will tell you something that President Biden did, and it's on video, and you can pull it up on a tape. When he called American servicemen, when he made a trip overseas, he called them stupid bastards. That tape is available. So you have this thing where Kelly said something, and 20 of us disputed, and there's a tape with Biden calling American servicemen stupid bastards because they didn't applaud at something. So I said, look, just go pull that tape up if you want. It's pretty easy to find. Go on the internet and find it. Go on YouTube.
The receipts are there.
I just said, yeah, exactly right. So I tell people, look, I'm with the president a long time, very proud of him. My father served in combat. My wife served in combat. I served in combat. My daughter served in combat. My son-in-law served in combat. My youngest son served in combat, all of them in Afghanistan and Iraq. And he said, you really in your right mind think I'd support a guy who didn't support the American military as this guy did? Come on, give me a break.
Man, Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg with us right now. I want to ask you about the debate portion. There's a lot obviously being talked about Joe Biden now post-debate, but even if he would have done a fairly decent job at presenting himself, when Joe Biden said that he hadn't lost any troops, how'd that hit you?
Man, I would honestly, Annie, my jaw hit the floor. I mean, I was watching that in the living room of our house. And I actually stood up, and I didn't want to throw something against the TV set because then we wouldn't have any TV to watch. But I said, how can you possibly say that? And in my watch, no Americans died. I said, my God, what are the 13 Gold Star families, wives, mothers, fathers, saying when they heard that statement and what happened at Abbey Gate in Afghanistan? And I'm not about the others that we lost, those 3 we lost in Jordan in the drone attack. I said, that is such a seismic event, and you couldn't remember it? I said, I'm shocked that the Gold Star families just didn't revolt on that one. And that's one of those, don't ever talk to me about President Trump making or saying he's made disparaging remarks. If you cannot recognize the valor and the heroism of 11 Marines, 1 soldier, 1 sailor in Abbey Gate that day, then you really don't deserve to be commander-in-chief. You just don't.
Yeah, amen. Last question, and we appreciate your time so much. Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg speaking with us right now. Tomorrow is Independence Day, and I fear that the mark of that day might be overshadowed by the drama taking place in the executive branch of our government. But you talked about having the greatest military, but also needing the will to use it. What do you feel about the state of democracy in our independent and free country right now as we are approaching the 4th of July?
Yeah, I've got concerns. Annie, here's one of the reasons I've got concerns is I'm not too sure a lot of our youth is even well educated. Maybe we haven't trained them well of the sacrifices that were made over the 250 years of our nation and what it cost us to get to where we're at today. There's only one other nation in the world. It's a really tiny principle called San Marino that has a living constitution longer than ours. So we've been around longer than anybody else. And I get very, very concerned about what I see sometimes happening even here in the streets of the United States. And I go back to what one of the founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin, was asked after the Constitutional Convention when they said, Mr. Franklin, what did you give us? And his response was, we gave you a republic if you can keep it. And I said, God, that is such a precise statement. And I just worry sometimes about it and just want to, I said, people go back and look at your history, be very, very proud of what Americans have done for the world and for themselves. And the sacrifices Americans have made consistently, constantly. to protect freedom around the world and for our citizens here at home. And this is a time that maybe you ought to sit back and think really hard, take a deep breath, take a knee, reflect 5 minutes, 10 minutes, say a prayer late at night, and just thank you for the great men and women we have in uniform, not only today, but in the past as well.
Well, I am a praying person, and I am praying and with gratitude for you, for all of those family members you articulated there that have served, and for all of the men and women you've served with. We're very grateful for it, and we really appreciate your time today on the show.
Thanks, Annie. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Please come back. We appreciate you. Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, former National Security Advisor to the Trump administration. Isn't it nice to hear from people who are in the room when Donald Trump was using the art of the deal against the terrorist leaders in our world and really telling them this is how it's going to go? And it looks like they said, okay. Doesn't seem to be the case today, does it? Quite an interesting conversation today with Keith Kellogg. When we come back, we'll get Ryan Wiggins back in studio. Just a tad disappointed that the Lieutenant General didn't comment on Ryan Wiggins' singing from earlier in the show. He did retweet the live stream on Twitter, but he didn't. I guess he wasn't listening. I had to laugh at G-Wibs on our YouTube channel regarding Ryan singing Adele earlier. He said if Ryan was a little older, this would be elder abuse. Just call me Jill. We'll be right back.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
The Retirement Advisory Group, your friends to help you transition out of that work mentality into retirement. Are you ready? You know you're ready. You're mentally there. You got to make sure that you're financially there, or at least that what you have accumulated so far, that you can live within those means. That's where the Retirement Advisory Group comes in. That's where Thomas Helbig and Bob and Tammy Kershaw come in. All you got to do is call 314-993-9494. 314-993-9494. They're waiting to pick up the phone. Tell them Annie sent you and just say, I'd like to have that conversation. Annie said it was free. It is free. You can sit down, talk about where you are, what you want to do, and then they tell you if you can make it and what you can do to make sure that you transition into retirement, making all of the right moves. When you call them at 314-993-9494, you set up a no-cost, no-obligation review of your retirement and talk about that personalized structured income plan so you know what to expect once retirement sets in. Schedule your appointment today. Make sure you let them know that Annie sent you to the Retirement Advisory Group online at retirementkey.com.
More good news for Frederick Roofing, voted best roofing company by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
314-645-2000.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-699-1059. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-699-1059. That's 800-699-1059.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
The Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll of the day. If Biden exits the race, who is his replacement? We're only giving you two choices, although really it's endless because one of the choices is Kamala Harris. The other one is anyone else, literally anyone else. Do you think it's going to be Kamala or do you think it's going to be somebody else if Biden exits the race? 147, this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
We're here to help you get registered to vote, whether you're in Missouri or Illinois. Democracy 2024 on 97.1 FM Talk. If you need help getting registered, go to 971talk.com/vote.
Gonna sit down in the kitchen and fix me something good to eat.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Come on, Ryan, play the harmonica.
Pass to me, baby. Pass it to me slow.
Oh, sorry, I was eating corn on the cob.
I hate it when I get my harmonica confused with my corn.
Yeah, you can tell the difference, too.
What a good 4th of July song.
Definitely.
Is it in your list?
No.
Ryan is playing fireworks music for you tomorrow morning.
No. Although you can
From
play
8
all the
a.m. to
fireworks
11
music
a.m.
tomorrow morning you want. You really can do whatever you want as a free American, especially on the 4th of July. But if you want to tune into the radio, you should do it at 8 o'clock. You know what I'm nervous about, though?
8 a.m.?
8 p.m. to 11 p.m. music for fireworks. Lots of features and speeches from American history and slogans and stuff. I'm pulling a lot more stuff this year. I'm looking forward to it. But you know what's... It kind of sucks because...
You're taking some liberties here. Go on.
I know, but the weather, it looks bad tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I don't remember having to deal with that on 4th of July very often.
Well, I just got a message from my wife that the fireworks in O'Fallon are still on.
Good. Good. I hope they all are.
Good Lord, they play baseball in lightning storms.
Yeah, no kidding.
I hope nobody cancels until the absolute last minute and they have to.
So it's chaos.
Well, I'd rather be there and assume that it's going to happen than not, because we're not going to drive all over the place looking for fireworks. Go to one place, hope it happens.
Where are you going?
In the past, I don't know if we're going to do this year. We're talking about going to Mascoutah this year, down because they have a little fair every year. But in the past couple years, we've gone to, well, during the day, we go to Holiday Shores and do some boating and stuff like that. But at night, a lot of times we go to Alhambra.
Gosh, you just said Holiday Shores and Alhambra.
Uh-huh.
Earlier this week, we talked about Hamill and Warden.
Yeah.
Man, we are people. There's like people at the Yellow Dog right now going, hey.
Dude, if 100% of the population of those cities is not tuning in to 97.1, there's something wrong
Come
with
on,
this country
guys.
right now.
We should put some Annie Fry Show stickers at the Hollywood
on the stop signs.
The Holiday Shore.
Stop sign.
No, people steal the whole sign. At like the Holiday Shores Clubhouse or something like that.
Heck yeah, get a billboard. Put up a banner.
If I had an extra. Man, I was going to say something, but I can't remember what it was.
Well, you were just walking in from outside, and you said, I should say that.
No, it was something other
Okay.
than that. But I will talk about that. I said that Mark Reardon's in his office right now, and I said, wouldn't it be amazing if Joe Biden decides, well, the news is all off tomorrow because it's the 4th of July. Let's step down then. Now, we've got a plan in place if that happens here on 97.1. So if that happens and you're listening, you will have it covered right here. But that's what I would do. I mean, if it's imminent, if it's this week, I'd do it on Thursday so that the news gets released. Friday, everybody, there's no other time in the summer where more people will be unplugged than after 5 p.m. today through Monday to Monday.
It's true. If he does step down, though, are you saying he would step down from being the candidate but not the president?
I don't know how he does it, but I don't think anything that makes sense is. I don't think you like apply common sense and then get a likely outcome. I think everything is on the table right now. If he is, Mark Reardon was just saying to me out there that he apparently struggled in his. He had a call today with, I guess maybe there's the governor's call or something like that, and then he couldn't remember his chief of staff's name. And Mark Reardon aptly made the point that I can't really remember what his name is either.
Okay.
But If he's not capable of running for re-election, how is he capable of being the president?
Yeah.
When we just spoke with Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, and you said you listened to that interview?
Yeah.
The whole thing?
I walked away for about 2 minutes of
That's
it.
when
But
he was talking about you, man.
oh, was it that 2 minutes?
It was then.
Shouldn't have walked away.
Yeah, we had Abby out there waiting for you to leave your office so we could talk about you. Singing. Can I play that again later on the air?
Yeah, I played it at like 3:05.
We'll give it to Reardon.
No.
Turn him loose on it.
What a great conversation talking to Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg about being in the room when Donald Trump is like, we're getting that terrorist leader out of jail and he's going to do what we say. And being able to talk to somebody who is eyewitness account, not sources say about what happened or Donald Trump said suckers and losers. He brought that up on his own.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I would have thought to ask him the question, but he brought that up on his own that isn't a bullcrap story. And that's not who he is. And it's evident by Donald Trump's actions that he's not the type of guy who's calling people suckers and losers. And you see how frequently the left goes to suckers and losers. It's when everything else hasn't worked. Have you ever noticed that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not the no pun intended Trump card against Donald Trump. It's we're trying everything else and nothing else is working. Suckers and losers, suckers and losers. Somebody say suckers and losers. That's the way that generally plays out. If I were looking at the week ahead, I don't know that next Wednesday at this time that Joe Biden is the nominee for sure. And because if he's not the nominee, they have no time to waste getting out there and recalibrating the whole system so that the left has something to finally be excited about.
Here's what I think should happen. Joe Biden drops out now so that he can run in 28. Because if he were president again for the next 4 years, ineligible. But from 2028 through 2032, he could come back.
If Kamala Harris is the vice president on the next ticket, if she remains vice president, can she keep all the money?
I don't know. I've heard a lot of people.
I asked Concha that, and he said he didn't know either.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of people from every side of the aisle dissecting that issue, and I have not heard anybody say for sure. Well, actually, I have. I heard people say for sure that the money has to stay with that ticket. But I've heard other people who are in that world say, well, it's unprecedented, so it's hard to predict, but there are maybe ways around that we haven't tried yet. So I don't know.
I don't know. I know that's hypothetical as far as the money goes. I just don't know how you put Kamala Harris on the ticket as not the president if it's not Joe Biden.
What if that's
if
if
she's
that's
on
your,
the ticket?
Your Pawn Stars best I can do.
We were speculating before you walked in. Well, who would you make president if it was Kamala Harris still vice president?
Oh, you were talking about that?
We were. And what I determined was, and Brad agreed, was Mike Pence.
The YouTube live chat poll for today is if Biden exits the race, who is his replacement? You've got two questions. Or gosh, I just quit. I quit talking.
It's
I can't
all
talk
right.
anymore.
It's almost freedom.
Just go back in time. If Biden exits the race, who is his replacement? Kamala Harris or someone else? That's your YouTube poll. The reason why I can't speak clearly, and I'm just going to throw this out at the end, and I don't need any comments from you, Ryan Wiggins. I trust Brad. Ron Mueller says he is hoping for an Anthony Weiner and an Eric Holder ticket. Why? I don't know. I don't get it. We'll be right back.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
The Diamond Shop in Clayton is, they've got the beautiful, beautiful things you've been looking for there, but they also have great people. And I really, there's beautiful jewelry. You can go to get beautiful jewelry at a lot of places, but it's going to be an investment. And you want to make sure you're making that investment with people you can trust. That is a huge, huge part when you're going to put some dollars into something that is valuable. And that's why you go to the Diamond Shop. And that's why people have generationally shopped at the Diamond Shop. The Diamond Shop has served St. Louis since 1910, and they are located now in Clayton. And when you talk to Tom and Mona, you quickly understand why people are like, yep, this is the place. This is the place that you will, buy things 30 years into marriage, 50 years into marriage, but also where you will send your loved one who maybe is about to get engaged to make an investment into a big decision because you trust the Diamond Shop to handle that well. You can learn all about them online at thediamondshop.net.
Surprise! Surprise! Surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Under Law Injury Lawyers GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
He's staying in the race. Lisa Brady, Fox News. That from the White House, facing another round of questions about President Biden's poor debate performance last week.
The president gets it, guys. He does. He gets what people saw and how people felt.
Reporters also asking spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre if President Biden is as sharp as when he took office in 2021.
What I can say is this is a president who is strong and resolute in delivering for the American people. That's what I see.
She also echoes what the president told a campaign event last night about his recent travel schedule being one factor on debate night, though his back-to-back trips to Europe were over more than a week before the debate.
We certainly don't want to explain this away, but you all asked me for an explanation yesterday. The president gave that directly yesterday to his supporters.
Jean-Pierre says the president is not considering stepping aside. The second time today, the White House has denied a New York Times report that he hasn't ruled it out and knows he may not be able to salvage his campaign. The president's been holding calls with top Democrats in Congress, and he and the vice president made a surprise joint appearance today during a Democratic National Committee call, reassuring staffers about the campaign and what's at stake this November. The president's also scheduled to meet with a group of Democratic governors.
As a conservative, of course I want Joe Biden to stay in it because he's by far the weakest candidate.
That's Texas Congressman Pat Fallon telling Fox Business. Court papers now indicate that former Toronto Raptors player Jonte Porter will be charged with a federal felony connected to the sports betting scandal that spurred the NBA to ban him for life. Federal prosecutors in Brooklyn filing what's known as a criminal information sheet. America is listening to Fox News.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-653-1188. 800-653-1188.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Partly sunny skies, and it's hot, it's humid. We'll keep an eye out for a couple of redeveloping thunderstorms. 94 for the high. Tonight, periods of rain and thunderstorms early, and then redeveloping late tonight. 74 Thursday for the 4th. Rain and thunderstorms in the morning. Partly sunny skies, then scattered thunderstorms late Thursday into Thursday evening at 88. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
JenTeskeyHomes.com. Are you looking to buy a house on the Illinois side of the river? I want to encourage you to check out JenTeskeyHomes.com or call 618-541-1010. Jen Teskey Homes and RE/MAX Alliance are there to guide you through your buying process to make sure you get a house at a fair market price, that you know the questions to ask so that you can find exactly that dream home that you've been looking for. I love the fact that they specialize in like the Edwardsville, Glen Carbon, Maryville, Troy, Collinsville area and around about those different locations. But if you've decided to move into Illinois, if you're new here, if you're relocating in Illinois, you want to make sure you have somebody who's going to be able to understand exactly how that market works. And Jen Teskey and RE/MAX Alliance, they're there to make sure that that is the case. You can call them directly at 618-541-1010, 618-541-1010, or you can learn all about them online at jenteskeyhomes.com.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Who are you voting for in the Missouri governor's primary? Join me, Annie Fry, for the Republican Governors Forum on July 11th. Register for this free event presented by the Republican Central Committee of St. Louis County at 971talk.com/events.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Been some very interesting developments over the course of the 2 hours and 7 minutes the show has been on the air. It's dramatic developments.
That's an understatement.
An understatement. No, we're not talking about the leader of the free world. We're talking about Ryan Wiggins singing Adele at 12:45 to bring us into the segment.
That's pretty much what everybody's going to be talking about throughout the holiday.
So I told Brad, Ryan, I said, you should. Oh, there's Joe Concha. He's back on TV. I said, you need to pull that audio from the YouTube video that's up on the Andy Fry YouTube channel if you want to see Ryan singing Adele with no. You know how it's funny. That's the way the story came from. Where you're talking about Adele, they accidentally played her straight track.
Oh, yeah.
Not that we have that for you.
Yeah, we do.
It's like the same thing.
It's pretty, yeah, except yours was done on purpose. Theirs was an accident.
Well, you have it. They both exist.
I didn't question that.
Yeah.
I didn't question that they exist. I was saying
it's
you
not an
deliberately
accident.
wanted to hear me without the background vocal.
It's not an accident that they had that one, but
See? It's pretty good. That's what I sing. I sing that to my wife like that.
But you do it like that.
Kinda. I don't go that all out for it. See, in my headphones.
Maybe you should.
If you want to know how this happens.
You nailed every note.
They play, of course I do. They play the song in our headphones and they go, hey, Ryan, why don't you sing along? Because we were talking about this yesterday. I'm, oh, sure. So I sing it. Well, if you're listening on the radio, you can hear me singing to the Adele track, and it sounds phenomenal.
That's what you're doing here.
Then you record me just in the studio when you can't hear the Adele track, and suddenly it's funny. But
It's
what
not
I'm going
suddenly
for,
funny. It was funny the first time
No.
too. That's why we're doing it.
what I'm going for is people like those Simon Cowell jaw drop moments where they go, "Oh my gosh, never heard the voice of an angel before."
Info dude says, "Is Ryan taking requests? Can you do It's a Grand Old Flag?"
Yeah, I can. That's part of the special. It's not me doing it.
You doing it?
No, it's not.
Can you imagine if people tune in for 8 a.m. fireworks music and it's just Ryan singing his favorite song?
I can't imagine any of that.
Can you sing Yankee Doodle?
No part of
He's
that.
thinking about it now.
You know what? If I
You
did,
laughed. You laughed when you said it.
if I did a song like that, it would not be Grand Old Flag.
You're a grand
No,
old flag. You're a high flying flag. You can march to
It would be
that.
something a little bit less. I guess that one's kind of fun, but I'm thinking like I don't want to do anything that's going to be super disrespectful.
Well, Brad, I told Brad, I said, you should get that sound. We just need to have it in our archive so I can quickly Google Ryan, Adele. Boom, there you are.
And you did.
So he searched it up on YouTube, which is where I put it. And there, from 11 years ago, is a Ryan Wiggins official. This guy's got 4 subscribers. Maybe more after this. 11 years ago, there's a video up with 153 views from Ryan Wiggins official, and it's not you. He's British or something.
Yeah, he's definitely
It
not
just
me.
says, Ryan Wiggins, someone like you, Adele cover. You're not the first to do this, which makes me feel like that philosophy that nobody is ever the first person to do anything anymore is actually true.
Well, no, I'm not the first person to cover Adele named Ryan Wiggins on YouTube.
That's wild.
That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
Because there are not that many. If you Google my name, I think I'm probably the first one that comes up, me, not other Ryan Wigginses. But in the past, before I was on a super popular radio show.
The Dave Glover Show?
Yeah. Before I was part of this
DGS.
team, if you Googled Ryan Wiggins, there was a couple random people, and the only one I could remember was a black hockey player named Ryan Wiggins who played for the Navy, and like a couple other random Ryan Wiggins. There
You guys
aren't a
get
ton
confused?
of them. Yeah,
You do look like a hockey player.
It's not a common name, but I think that I finally won the algorithm. This guy, I've never heard of this guy.
He's really going to benefit from you.
Yeah.
Are you ready to share the spotlight?
He's probably a huge star now.
We played his video. It's pretty good.
No, it wasn't.
The sound was.
I mean, he didn't hit the notes like I did. You have to admit that.
Oh, no, we're going to get copyrighted.
Because it sounds so spot on.
Yeah.
Be
The
like,
notes
"Oh."
are right. The notes are right.
That's right.
I said we were going to talk about manliness and masculinity during this segment. So are you prepared for that?
I'm always prepared for that. Polishing my muscles right now, accidentally. I don't know what I'm doing.
Why am I doing that?
Did you see Joe Biden with that man at that event, that environmental thing that he was at? He was talking to a black man who had a T-shirt on and had tattoos on his arms, and Joe Biden puts his hand here, like on the elbow joint of the guy's arm, and just goes like this.
No.
And he just like strokes his arm.
No, I didn't see that, but if it was Cory Bush, he would have been healed. Oh, man. I got you pretty good on that one then. All right. No. Is Joe Biden trying not to fall down? Is he trying to brace himself?
I don't think we know what he was trying to do. I don't think he knows what he was trying to do.
I don't know that he ever knows what he's trying to do.
There is I'm going to get to this conversation that Joey Jones had on the 5 yesterday here in a minute. But first, we're going to talk about, you did a story about traveling on planes and sitting in which seats and boarding planes and how this is what you're thinking all the time. And I asked you if it was because you were raw dogging.
And I said, I don't know what that was.
Interesting that there's multiple meanings, but there is.
I said, I sleep that way.
Okay. But it's a trending thing right now that people are talking about. Men are talking about in-flight raw dogging, which is going onto the plane, sitting down in your seat with zero technology, no books, no headphones, no distractions, just sitting, staring forward, and waiting for the flight to land. Maybe you look at the flight map if there's a flight map or something like that. But the idea is that you can sit in complete and total unstimulated silence for the duration of the plane with whatever going on the plane that you can, as essentially a test of one's manhood and masculinity.
That's a stupid test. Is that the equivalent of drinking a bunch of raw eggs and then working out or something? Picking up a picnic
Gaston.
bench? I mean, what does that prove?
A not-so-new trend has taken to the skies, but it's not for those who can't be alone with their thoughts. People are now raw-dogging long-haul flights. Long-haul flights. We're not talking to flying to Orlando here. Meaning they are jumping on a plane without any form of entertainment. This means no books, music, shows, or movies. Just sitting there in your own head.
Oh, so if you're just trying to get through a flight, and I agree with you, if it's a shorter flight, maybe.
Only water.
See, why?
And you can take bathroom breaks.
So, but
I'll let Brad explain it to you.
I don't understand because
you're itching. Like this is making.
He's like, this is giving me highs.
I don't understand why. What are you trying to accomplish? Because being alone with your thoughts is something that it's almost like meditation. But I'm picturing these guys, the way they describe it, as like those British guards. You stand there and like you mess with them and they can't move. Is that how intense they're doing it?
Go on, Brad.
Yes, that's how intense they're doing it.
So they're just staring. That would freak out the person sitting next to you. You're just staring?
Yeah, they just sit there. Not like intense face or anything like that.
Yeah, you have to turn your head 90 degrees and stare directly at your neighbor.
Yeah,
you have to turn
You're like, I'm being a man.
Turn your head 180 degrees.
Right.
Start vomiting.
I want a video of you trying to do this completely wrong.
Next time you go to Japan.
Sitting on the chair backwards, staring at the person behind you. You ever try to do that in an elevator? Get in an elevator next time. Anybody listening? Next time you get in an elevator, get in and don't turn toward the doors. Just stay facing everyone.
There's a guy on YouTube who does just awkward elevator questions. So they'll get on, the doors are closed. He'll be like, all right, awkward elevator questions. What are your thoughts on abortion? Trump or Biden?
Wow.
Was it Ryan?
No, but it could be.
You could do that.
I do that.
You could do that here.
I just don't tape it. I already do it.
Yeah. Well, you're missing out on great content. Right?
Yeah, I don't do it. I don't do it for the people. Do it for myself. Raw dogging, I can tell you, I will never do. No reason for it.
Okay.
How
long can you be alone in your thoughts?
Pretty long time. I can sit there.
10 minutes, 15?
No, I could go longer than that. I could go probably an hour.
18.
Yeah, 18, 19. If you said 20, I'd be like 21.
That's what you would do the whole time.
Yeah.
You just count.
What are we doing? Not sure, but I'm winning.
You do the count thing, but you only do the ahs out loud.
The rest of it's all in my head.
Brad, could you?
I I don't think so, because most of my, whenever I can be alone in my thoughts, I'm doing a mindless task. So something that's repetitive that can kind of go on autopilot. To sit still, I would fall asleep, or, I couldn't daydream for that long.
Yeah, I take that back. I would probably need to be, I can go on long car trips and not turn on the radio once.
Mm-hmm.
And
I can do that.
Just listen to nothing, think. Sometimes I'll write. I'll, jot down notes about things.
That's working. That doesn't count.
So I could think about it, but I couldn't write it down.
Do you ever sit down and actively, do you just spend time thinking?
I can't say I allot time for it. I do most of my thinking in two places. One is one you already know. The other one is the bedroom.
Places when you're by yourself?
I don't.
I was going to say,
and I don't mean that to sound weird. I just mean like when I'm laying down.
Where's the first place?
On the pooper.
This is so juvenile.
I
was just talking about
it's
how
the day before holiday.
men are trying to reclaim being men, and that being in control of your own thoughts and not needing outside stimulation in order to be able to move through time is a show of strength. I agree with that. That if you can sit and be unstimulated, unentertained, unattended to, that is a sign of mental fortitude. I think I could definitely do this if at the end of it people were going to know that I did it. If I was going to get credit for
people to know.
Accomplishing it, I would be able to do it. Which is not the point. It's not for everyone to know. Although if it's a hashtag on social media now, maybe it is the point.
It is.
But I will do this. I will take time if I'm facing something, a really significant challenge. I do that with this show a lot. If I have the ability to, and I think being on an airplane is probably the easiest place to do it. It's the easiest place to be like, well, I'm kind of like a hostage here for a certain amount of time. The plane will land. It will be chaos then. I'm going to sit in my thoughts and be still. The only thing about this that I know that I couldn't do, I would have to have headphones on because I do not want to listen to everybody else around me. I don't want to listen to Loud Talker Lady 6 rows back. I don't mind crying kids, but if I hear crying kids, all I do is think about the mom, and I'm thinking about things that I could do to help her. She doesn't want me to come up and be like, you seem to be struggling. How can I help you?
How long could you do it if I was sitting next to you? No headphones for you.
Couldn't.
And I was just chomping on some ice.
I'd hit you in the face.
And laughing loudly at a movie.
I don't care about the laughing loudly at a movie.
Like, oh my gosh. And I can't believe he hit the ball so far.
I don't understand adult people who chew gum where other people can know at all that you're chewing gum. I don't understand that. If anybody around you know, like if you're chewing gum for breath purposes, for maybe it's a nicotine gum, like that's something that I remind myself that there might be people using a nicotine gum and it's not really like just gum for the sake of gum. But like when you are around grown people who haven't learned yet to not do that for everybody to consume around you, I don't get it. Ice chewing, same thing.
Ice chewing's fun though. What happens if you use a nicotine patch and you've never smoked?
I don't know. You sound like somebody who might find out.
On our next YouTube video.
Are you trying to get high off of a nicotine patch?
I'm just wondering. Yeah, I'm just wondering if that would work.
If it makes you really calm?
Yeah, or wired. I would think it would make you real buzzed.
I think it would have the same effects that nicotine would have, and if you're not used to it from smoking.
What is nicotine? What is the effect that nicotine has?
It's a stimulant.
I know so many people in my friend group who got addicted to cigarettes because and this is what they said anyway. I've never smoked. They said the first couple weeks of smoking cigarettes, when you smoke, oh man, you get a buzz. Mm-hmm. And then it goes away, and then you just have to keep doing it. And they got so addicted for years because of that first couple weeks.
Joey Jones was on the 5 yesterday, and he was talking about masculinity and how it really fits into the political landscape. So I'm going to play his clips for you when we come back, and I'm going to see if you gentlemen agree with what he's saying. Because what he's saying is kind of a traditional thing to say, but at the same time, you're like, thinking, I mean, many of you might be thinking, duh. But nobody says it really today. Joey Jones did. We'll play those clips on the show when we come back. Don't go away.
Should I keep it light? Stay out of the fight. No one's gonna listen to
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Is that right? Way up we go. Been up and down that road. Way up, oh no. We gon' burn the whole house down.
Point Pest Control. My friends at Point, that's Point with an E. They're ready to help you with your pest problem. Make sure that you connect with them, pointpestcontrol.com, or call them directly at 636-798-0023, 636-798-0023, and drop the old Annie Fry Show name when you call because you're going to get an additional 10% off whatever services and best deals that they have available. Add my name into it, and they'll get you a little extra savings. If mosquitoes are plaguing you right now, Point Pest Control can help you. If you have had the unfortunate circumstance of confronting termites at your home, place of business, your garage, whatever, Point Pest Control can help you. If you were like me and you found spiders in your home and it was burn the house down or call Point Pest Control, I'm glad that I had Point Pest Control in my house because I never saw or have seen a spider in my home since Point Pest Control came out and sprayed for them. They took care of the business for me. My family feels comfortable. I feel comfortable. And they tell me, if you ever see another bug, give us a call. We'll take care of it. I subscribe to their premium quarterly service plan, and I encourage you to do so as well. Don't forget to drop my name. Save extra 10% on the top of everything that they have going on right now. 636-798-0023, pointpestcontrol.com.
Summer is here, which means pool days, beach trips, and yeah, you guessed it, traffic jams. Oh yeah, and heat waves. Don't let summer catch you by surprise. Get the local news you need, no matter what you're up to, with the free Odyssey app. And never miss a beat with alerts on breaking stories sent directly to your phone. Listen today on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
You entrusted a nursing home with the care of a loved one, but they violated that trust. If your family member has been the victim of nursing home neglect, call Onder Law at 844-BED-SORE.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gsLHonorFlight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk is online, and you can stream it on your phone anytime.
Oh, yeah.
Just download the Odyssey app, and 97.1 is one button away.
Oh, yeah.
97.1 FM Talk.
Everybody's always waiting on Friday, watching that clock and sitting on go.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Don't need a reason or a happy hour. Ain't hanging around for a fireworks show. Get a head start, a little sip of something. Off and running, here we go. 1, 2, 3, here we go. Don't wanna wait till the sun's sinking.
Yeah, masculinity has been under attack for a long time, but it's probably not what you think I'm going to say. Masculinity isn't just playing football, lifting weights, and doing the gym bro thing. I do some of those things, and I enjoy it. I hunt and do all those things. Masculinity is what God gave us through our DNA to bear the arrows in our backs. He gave us the armor. He gave us more hair so we could go out in the middle of the winter. He gave us what we needed, the tools we needed. Absolutely. I mean, whether it's evolution or God, masculinity among men is for our ability to provide and protect. The loss of masculinity in our society, especially in the Democratic Party that panders to groups, are those that don't raise their kids, those that go out and get in trouble and think somehow that being bravado is what is masculine, those that do things that aren't centered around providing and protecting those more vulnerable around them, which is our job as men in this world. Maybe not in this society anymore, but in this world. And that's what's important. It's not about gender or sexual orientation or identity. Masculinity as a concept that exists in a man or a woman is there to provide and protect, to take the arrows, to do the difficult things, to be stoic about it, to not need to be a peacock. And some of these things I'm bad about myself. But that's the masculinity that's missing in this society. And that just happens to be the party that has excused or ushered out its existence. And so now they're suffering from it because the DNA in these young men, no matter what their parents believe or they believe, is telling them, I need to go get dirty. I need to go get bloody. I need to go do difficult things and see if I can succeed at it. I need to go fail. That's what masculinity is, not some caricature on some Instagram page.
So there's Joey Jones. He was on the 5 yesterday saying that. And Brad, does he make a good point there? And is what he's saying shocking?
What he is saying, I don't think is shocking, and he is making an incredibly good point. What is the purpose of a man? And if you get to what the purpose of a man is, and you get to the true definition of what masculinity is. What he's saying there is boiled down into two words: protect and provide. To be able to be that protector and to be able to be that provider. And I can't think of any better definition of masculinity. And it looks at, like, at the end there, he's talking about, I need to go out and get dirty. I need to go out and get bloodied up. I need to go fail. All those things prepare you to be the best protector and provider that you can possibly be. So I agree with him 100%.
Ryan?
Yeah, he said that the one key thing that he said in there that I know Brad probably agrees with too is he said that this was all related to God. And
Well, he said there that, like, the makeup of a man, he said whether it's God or evolution. He said,
I missed that.
He specifically says in there, I think he's a Bible believing person for sure, but he says there, when it comes to the way men are structured, the way men's bodies are and their intuition, you can think it's God or you could think it's evolution. I mean, if you have a survival of the fittest mentality where men are today versus where they've been before, that would be in play also.
I think what he's speaking to and what I would derive that from being from God would be that there is an order to things. There's a created order. There is a natural order, if you want to say evolution. But I would always say created order because of the God angle, that it fixes so many problems. And whether it be that we just don't believe that there is a created order, therefore we can do whatever we want. We find out, this stuff fails. It's not good. It doesn't work. It doesn't make me happy. Or we just don't really believe that, yes, there is a created order, but it can bend quite a bit. I just think that we've gotten away from believing that there's a plan for anything so much that we think that there is no plan, and therefore everything is so chaotic and you just do whatever you want and it never works.
If you're saying that it's what did you say, to protect and provide, if men's job is to be protectors and to be providers, then there is an obvious conclusion that could be drawn that women's job is to be protected and provided for.
I would disagree with that. Their job is to be caretakers and nurturers. So
does that but can they protect themselves? Can they provide for themselves? I mean, certainly the obvious sub sequitur is that they'd be protecting and providing for children, various things, but what about themselves?
They can, but that's not what they were made for. Does that make sense?
Well, it's your opinion.
It's not your primary function. It doesn't mean you're unable to do it.
What would the primary function be?
Would be the nurturing and caretaking. Women are just better at nurturing their children, at being caretakers. You all think about the things that guys would never do. And really, you go to a restaurant, guy walks in, maybe you do this, but we walk into a restaurant, I'm looking for where the doors are, where the exits are, where somebody might be coming in, and I want to sit in a way that I can see them. And it's just wired into me that way. But then I look at the way my wife takes care of kids, and the way she interacts with kids is way different than what I would do.
I think it's, I don't think it's enough to just refer to women's ability to nurture children, because women nurture men. And men seem to need the nurturing from women as well. I think women are inclined to want to be protected, even if they can protect themselves. And I think that that's where postmodern feminism has jumped the shark a bit, because the idea that women are, I don't believe that the purpose of women is to nurture and caretake. But I believe that's the greatest strength of women as a whole, that you are predisposed to have a level of active, engaged empathy that is not the priority or the strength of men. But there are a lot of people who have heightened strengths in certain situations that doesn't mean that the converse of that is a weakness. You know, I would consider my husband to be a very nurturing person. And he is an amazing caretaker for me and for my family in much the same way that I think I am. It's a pretty equal share. But if there is a noise outside at 12:30 in the morning, there's no way in hell he's like, Annie, will you go check that out? Ever. He sleeps closer to the door than me. And I feel better that he does. I know how to use my 22, my 9, my 40, my 308. I know how to use the 12 and the 20. I know how to use all of those and can and will in a heartbeat to protect my family. But he's always going first. That's just the way that it is. And I don't want it. I don't feel less because of that. I actually feel to be made to be more because of that, because he's willing to put himself, you know, as simple as something as essentially when we go, if we sleep in a hotel room, if we're sleeping anywhere else, he just sleeps closer to the door. And that is a really interesting way to kind of frame the idea of being a protector. It's not because I can't. And it's not because he should. It's because he wants to. And he's inclined to do that. And I think what postmodern feminism does is it takes the inclination that the masculine side of the equation has, and it turns it into some sort of egregious sin. That the idea that a man would be like, I'll go check out what the noise is downstairs. I'll take care of that. The automatic inference is, oh, you don't think that I can? I mean, when we move into a society where the men go, fine, go. We're toast. We're screwed. And I also think that the idea that, like, in an instance where there is nurturing to take place, like I've seen even recently, up close and personal, men in my life nurture the women in their life because there was sadness in the moment, or there was a time where that person needed to be cared for, and you didn't have to go like take out a bad guy. There were no bad guys. It just was an emotional moment, and the men stepped up. So it's not to say that because a man is a protector and a provider that they also can't be nurturers or caretakers. And because women are more inclined to be predisposed to being caretakers and nurturers, that they can't also protect and provide. I mean, that's been my experience.
I haven't ever really had the opportunity to say, like, oh, you go do that in those circumstances, because I am told to do that, whatever that is. And that's fine. I don't expect any...
To go check on the noise?
Either the noise, or usually it's a bug. Go kill this bug.
Heck yeah, that counts.
Man, we have not to go off on a tangent here, but we got a mouse in my basement right now.
You said off the air, you needed to call Point Pest Control.
I do, because it is driving me crazy. But it is my instinct.
Do you hear it just going like this?
Yeah, at dawn every day.
And then it just lives with you. It's just like,
no,
hey.
I don't want it to live with me.
Hey.
You weren't invited here, mouse.
Hi, Mickey.
And I hate that thing. And it is my instinct as a hunter, which is why I have so much hair, according to Joey Jones, to kill that thing and fry it up.
You gonna eat it?
Nah, probably not. But
you can serve it to your kids.
It absolutely is my instinct. Like, I can't wait to get done today, because I think I've trapped it into an area using glue traps and all kinds of different contraption things. So I can't wait to get home and then take that area apart piece by piece and see if I've gotten it.
Who's the guy with the groundhog?
Bill Murray?
Bill Murray. I was thinking Bill Pullman, Billy Crystal. No.
I don't think he actually has a groundhog in that movie, but...
No, he's after it. Isn't it a groundhog?
Yeah, Punxsutawney Phil.
Yeah.
It's not-
No. I'm talking about Caddyshack, you nerd.
Oh, you said Bill Murray and Groundhog. I, of course, thought Groundhog Day.
Am I wrong? Isn't it Bill Murray and isn't it a groundhog?
Is it a woodchuck?
I don't know what
In
is that
Caddyshack?
thing. Is it a groundhog?
Think
No,
it
it's
is.
too big. It's too little to be a groundhog. It's littler.
He always just calls it the varmint.
Is it a mole?
I don't think it is a mole. What is that thing? Somebody let us know what that thing is. There's a huge Caddyshack fan who's like,
Gopher.
here we go. That's
right.
it.
That's right. Thank you, Dirk. This is why we have the chat, because we don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, the one reason. But that is there. I mean, back to your point, that nature or whatever, that created order that I referred to is there. And we joke all the time. I'm not exactly like the manliest guy, but it is still my job to do all that stuff in the house. Last night, just because I mentioned the fact that I think there is a mouse down there.
What'd you do that for?
Because
Rookie mistake.
Because I had set up all this stuff down there to catch it. And
Was it like just big blocks of cheese?
it's
For
a
mouse.
wheel.
It's a mousetrap game.
Real cheese.
This'll get him.
Yeah.
First, he'll go down the slide, and then he'll.
Wow, he's taking forever.
But no, I set all this stuff up down in the basement in this corner. And so the kids, of course, were like, oh, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, cat's out of the bag now. Speaking of which, we should probably get a cat to take care of these things. We have a mouse down here. I know we do. And gosh.
This
so
sounds
then
like
everybody
something that
else
a man
everybody
would
knows it.
do to like claim that he caught the mouse just to like get in good. Do you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
There's
Not
a-
above that.
There's a fake mouse. I appreciate what Joey Jones is coming out and saying, because these traits that have been considered toxic, that are masculine traits, yeah, they can be toxic. Listen, it's been a minute. I've been hit on in bars by men who I know were trying to get a date with me, and I know I've been hit on by men who are not trying to get a date with me. Catch my drift?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a toxicity that existed in one of those instances, but the confidence that it takes to approach somebody, the willingness to participate in that somewhat natural order of things that has maybe been changed quite a bit since 20 years ago when my husband and I first got together. There is a toxicity that can exist with masculinity, but that's just because a-holes exist.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that there's not toxic femininity? My gosh. I mean, it's as rampant as the masculinity portion of it. But when you take it and you use it for the greater good, and the greater good is always the selfless good. It's the one that prioritizes other people over yourself. And the things that are masculine, all of those things that Joey Jones is listing there, those traits about being masculine, they're about caring for other people. Toxic masculinity is like the bro guy. He talks about the gym bros or whatever, but the people who walk around and they want you to see how good they look. The narcissists of the world who want to use what they are impressed about themselves. They want to make sure and confirm that everybody around them is equally impressed with themselves. That's an entirely self-serving thing. Again, going back to the a-holes. That's what that is. But the aspects of masculinity that are like you saying, I don't like to go after the bugs. I don't want to have to kill the mouse, but I have to. You're not going to say to Mrs. Wiggins, you're at equality. Like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You're probably also not going to get rid of the mouse that way.
I don't know if I'm going to get rid of the mouse, period, but I'm going to do everything humanly possible to get rid of that thing.
Point pest control.
I may, because I'm going to give it one more night and see if what I did worked, and see if not, somebody's getting called. But last night, because the kids knew, my daughter was going to bed. I was so tired. I was just dead at about 10 o'clock last night. And she comes downstairs. She's like, Dad, I can't sleep. I got to know that mouse is not my room. There is no humanly possible way or mouse possible way for that thing to get from where I think it is to her room on the upper floor.
Yeah, but
No way.
what about her babies?
Don't even bring up the mouse babies.
PestControl.com.
No, there's no mouse babies. That is a boy mouse. I declare it right now.
Is there ever just one mouse?
I think so, because we've never had a mouse in our house. So this thing had to really work to get in somehow.
I am fully aware. Like, we saw 2 wolf spiders. We had been gone for the weekend, and they were in the blankets that were like one of them was laying on the couch, one was laying on the chair. 2 wolf spiders within 3 minutes of each other. And all I could think of like, oh, we found the 2 spiders that were in our whole house. Flamethrower. Let's go. That's why I had them come out. Because it's like, to me, I knew, and they would be like, so here's what we did. And then they'd start, I'd be like, nope, don't tell me. If the conclusion here is that I don't see these anymore, that is all I need. If this turns into me seeing more and I can call you, because I just expected that this was going to be a process, which it wasn't. It was like Terminator, gone. I was thinking, okay, for every one you see, there's probably a number. I don't want to know what it is. For every one spider you see, there are this many that exist. I don't know if it's the same for mice. I'm getting itchy right now.
I don't know either. I looked it up, and all the literature says, oh yeah, it probably means there's a few. But I really, really think that this thing just somehow squeaked through a dryer vent or something. It hasn't started a family. And I know why I have found it, because I know that it knows where my candy drawer is now.
Ryan,
Oh, no.
do you have little nibbles out of it?
No, but I found,
I was going to say,
I heard it.
Did it leave?
And it's right there where that candy drawer is.
I think I know how this happened. I think Dennis did it.
My neighbor is not going to plant mice in my house.
Maybe he wants a 2-for-1 special from Point Pest Control, and he thought, well, if you call him out, he'll get the discount. Drop that Annie name when you call him.
Man, that's brilliant.
Save 10%. Dennis, come on. We'll be right back.
Blame it on the workday, blame it on the heat wave, blame it on the tick-tock moving too
This
slow.
is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Air Comfort Service, you find them online at aircomfortservice.com. These are the folks who are going to help you get your AC back up and running the way it's supposed to. Hot weather has absolutely set in here in St. Louis. It's over 90 once again today. Humidity, all of that. Make sure the air quality in your home is under control with Air Comfort Service. They have 55 plus years of award-winning service, and they are growing and growing to make sure that they can continue to service you. Ask Air Comfort Service how you can keep your HVA system maintained for as little as $19 a month and have the peace of mind when that extreme heat and humidity like we've had is in the area right now. If you want to reach out to them directly, you can call them at 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091, and they're going to get you set up right away. They're easy to work with. They're great. They're wonderful people. You can check out all of the reviews. You can see all the BBB stuff. They come very, very highly recommended from myself and many, many other people out there who have used Air Comfort Service over decades and decades of service. AirComfortService.com.
If you're thinking of selling your home, I'm sure there are 2 things you want: certainty and the most money, right? Hi, it's Mark Cox, and if you've been listening to me for some time, you know the only agent I trust is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis real estate expert. Here's why she should be your first and only call when looking for an agent. Gloria doesn't make empty promises. No, she provides written guarantees. Now, what does this mean for you? Certainty. Now, certainty isn't the only thing you want. You also want the most money. Gloria is able to get her home sellers more money than the average agent because she already has the buyers. This is why Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she'll buy it. To get your guaranteed price, call St. Louis real estate expert Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Attention. Are you or a loved one suffering complications after taking Ozempic or Wegovy? These medications may be linked to serious gastrointestinal illnesses. If you've been hospitalized and diagnosed with gastroparesis, chronic vomiting, deep vein thrombosis, or experienced intestinal blockage requiring surgery, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Call 888-900-LAW-1 today for a free consultation. That's 888-900-LAW1. Paid for by Tort Defenders. Tort Defenders is not a law firm and does not provide legal services.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2, have a plan to get there. Step 3, make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all 3 with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-699-1059. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-699-1059. That's 800-699-1059.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
I can see clearly now thanks to the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and introducing Samuel Berry. You can too. Call 314-966-5000 or check out youridoc.com. That's youridoc.com.
What better way to support your nutrition than with the multivitamin that was created right here in St. Louis? Neovitin Original Multivitamin was created by St. Louis physician Dr. Abicki to support his own nutrition when he needed it most. Now, Neovitin Original Multivitamin is formulated with sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and Dr. Abicki's proprietary blend to give you nutritional support you won't find anywhere else. Neovitin is now conveniently available through our no-obligation monthly subscription. Cancel or pause at any time, and shipping is free. Support your nutrition with a subscription to Neovitin at neovitin.com today.
The hypotheticals that could happen right now in American politics are legion. If Biden exits the race, who is his replacement? That is the YouTube live chat poll. The answers that you could give to this question, if Biden exits the race, who is his replacement, are either Kamala Harris or the field. Anyone else. Those are your two options. Let us know. We'll give you the results of that poll in just a minute. 2:49. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon getting set to go here after Fox News at 3. Wow, the pressure is really mounting on Joe Biden. Another fascinating newser in the White House briefing room with KJP. We'll have all the latest coming up.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Gosh, I mean, there's like one news story today. Maybe the president's going to step down. Wow. Like, holy crap, that's a big, big story.
It's weird because it's such a massive story that it is a black hole sucking everything else into it. And yet, there's nothing to report. Everything that's being reported is pure conjecture. Nobody has any idea.
Man, now's a good time to announce your tell-all book. Not yours, unless you have.
I have a tell-all book? Okay.
No, you do have a book.
I do have a book.
Is The Life of Human about you?
In a way, it's about all of us.
Oh, shut up. See, what you can't see over the radio is his eyebrows. They're like little pursed eyebrow situation where he's very existential and philosophical.
What you also don't see unless you're watching the YouTube is when I purse my lips.
I don't look at your lips. I pretend you don't have any.
You know what I was really hoping.
This is going to be weird doing the rest of the show like this.
We should talk about The Life of Human for the next 4 or 5 minutes.
So Joe Biden is going to step down from the presidency, and we're like, let's talk about Ryan's book.
Let's talk about my book that
you can
came
buy
out
on Amazon
3 years ago.
Yeah. It is a huge story. I am tonight flying to Pittsburgh because I'm going to the Cardinals-Pirates game tomorrow. My husband and I are taking a quick jaunt as the baseball season that he's responsible for has ended. So we have good grief, like 6 or 7 weeks in the year where we're not in charge of coaching something, and it has begun. So we decided to take a quick trip to Pittsburgh. So we'll be at the Pittsburgh game. We're going to be in center field, just to the side of the bullpen, and the Pittsburgh bullpens are stacked. So the Pirates bullpen is in the front, which is where home runs would likely be hit, and then the visiting bullpen is behind it. So we decided to buy, those seats were like $23 or something. We were like, let's go cheap here, because the next day they travel to D.C. and we're going to go watch them in Washington. We've never been to either of those parks, and that is my husband and that's our bucket list thing. Over the course of time, we've been to quite a few stadiums so far, but we're always trying to add more. So I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. when it's possible that the president could resign.
What if he chooses you to do the interview?
Oh, right.
I mean, really? What if?
That would actually be par for the course for the cognitive presence of our president currently. Here we are walking around the Lincoln Memorial, and he's like, hey, would you like to interview me?
Yeah, because he wouldn't know
resign.
you were a radio host. He'd just be
No.
like, that one. How
No.
about that one?
No.
I'll do that one.
So I'm going to be in D.C. for a little bit. I mean, the trip is centered around going to see the Cardinals play, but we're going to try to fit in as much walking and viewing that we possibly can, because my husband has never been before. My first time was in May when I went with my son's class, and that was very much an 8th grade driven experience, which was great. I was dip my toe into all of the stuff there, but we'll be able to take our time, and what we do will depend on, is it raining or is it not raining? So I'm looking forward to it, but like, this is potentially one of the most consequential stories in American history for a United States president to step down because they are so deteriorated that they can't be the nominee and potentially do the job. Kamala Harris, I mean, if he resigns and she were to be sworn in, then there's your first female person of color president in the history of the country. Could you work that in before I come back on Sunday morning?
No.
Do you want it to happen?
No. I want him to stay. Here's what's so consequential about the debate. So we were at Dave & Buster's Thursday night doing the debate watch party. Of course, that was a great time, but the substance of the debate was not to use yesterday's YouTube live chat poll wording, but shocking. It was amazing how bad it was. I think none of us thought it was going to be that bad. And I got done with that event and was on my way home, and several people were texting me. One of them was my dad. And I said, did you watch it? And he said, no, we know how we're going to vote. It's okay. And I'm like, no, Dad, you don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, this was such a huge moment that you're going to want to watch. And so he did the same thing as you did, stayed up late, watched the replay on Fox News.
Texted each other.
Yeah, my dad and you are probably like right in line on everything anyway. So
Yeah.
you guys would just be saying the same thing to each other.
Yeah.
And
It's an echo chamber.
yeah, it would be kind of boring. So just skip it.
I'm not texting your dad at 2 a.m.
Yeah, don't do that. But he did, and I think everybody the other people I was texting with too were, because some of them had watched it, some of them hadn't. They said, "Oh my gosh, I realize what you just saw now." And yeah, that's not just about the debate; that's about the future now.
The YouTube poll for today is if Biden exits the race, who is his replacement? We have 208 votes today. It is crazy close. You have like 60 seconds less than to get in and vote at the Andy Fry YouTube channel. What do you think, Kamala or someone else?
Kamala Harris, if it's not Biden, which I still think it will be.
That's not the question.
Kamala Harris.
The question is if Biden exits the race, who's his replacement? You got Kamala. Kamala or someone else, Brad?
I got Kamala.
I think that that's where we are right now, but Lord knows. If I had to bet, due to this question, I would say Kamala as well. And it's really, what does it always come down to? Money. That's what I think. We have 208 votes in, and I won't end it, but I will report right now, 51% say Kamala.
Ooh, wow.
So it's neck and neck right there. You can weigh in. I'll leave it up for just a couple more seconds here. Thank you for listening today. Make sure you go to the Andy Fry YouTube channel and check out that YouTube short of Ryan singing in the studio. You nailed it.
Thank you.
Happy 4th. 8
Thank you.
p.m. to 11 p.m. Music to listen to Fireworks by Ryan Wiggins tomorrow night. So keep it here on 97.1. Any news breaks, we've got it for you right here.
So beat the drum with me.
Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. That's 314-752-5000. So if you need some extra cash, looking for that one-of-a-kind piece, make Jewels on Hampton your first stop. Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills.
Stewart's American Mortgage, he's there with you to help you with the bagel loan. And Stewie is a guy you can trust. When you're going to secure your mortgage, if you're talking to lenders, you want to make sure that you are working with somebody who's going to respect what's best for you. You want to make sure that you are working with somebody who understands the land.